Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. We're seeing North American stock futures. Little change so far this morning, heading into the thick of earnings season. Number of earnings reports out before the market opens this morning. We'll talk about a few of them, mostly in the banking sector coming up. J&J and Citigroup both reporting. Johnson & Johnson shares on watch this morning, trading lower, although trying to get back to break even here. But J&J to the downside after the company announced it's been forced to pause its late-stage COVID-19 vaccine trial because of an unexpected illness to one of the participants. Apple shares back on watch this morning, higher in the pre-market for the second straight morning, ahead of its much-anticipated iPhone 12 launch event coming up at 1 p.m. Eastern this afternoon. We're also watching, as I mentioned, some of the big banks, JP Morgan and Citigroup, out with earnings pre-market this morning. Disney shares also back to the upside this morning after the company announced plans to restructure its media division and focus mostly and more on streaming and streaming content. It's Tuesday, October 13th, 2020. TraderTV.live starts now. There we go. Look at Asian markets from the overnight session. A holiday in China had both Hong Kong and Shanghai closed. We had Australia to the upside. You can see the Nifty in India did get back to positive after being negative most of the session. We'll flip over to Europe and see how things are shaping up so far. Yeah, mostly negative right across the board. Let's go over to North America and see how futures are looking. You're going to find the NASDAQ back in positive territory. Everything else, little change so far. Bitcoin to the downside. We saw a decent move higher yesterday. Crude oil also in positive territory this morning. And gold back to the downside. Neil is back. Good morning, guys. Happy Thanksgiving or belated Thanksgiving to those on this side of the border. Neil enjoyed a nice day off yesterday. Back at it this morning. A number of things to talk about this morning. Individual names moving around. Some vaccine-related news, obviously, as we said.
Exactly. Happy to be back. Arun holding down the fort. I know he did a fantastic job, as he always does. But Apple Day today. I know Valeria is excited. New iPhone releases should have several. Of course, a 5G capable. Everyone's going to be excited to see that reveal at 1 o'clock. Going to be a lot of movers today as well. JP Morgan with a big beat. But the big number for me is they reduced their loan loss provision withholdings by like 500 million plus. So that's a positive sign for them. So lots to be active about today. I see I didn't get the memo about wearing all black apparently, but that's the look is down the line here. Valeria and Sean in the all black, despite the fact the market's just slightly positive on the NASDAQ.
No fears here for the all black here, the Johnny Cash. We're going to Apple's up, but I do want to short it once. Just so you guys know, I'll probably be short soon. Once it breaks this 125.20, I'm going to go short side on Apple here, and it's one of those days where we say. I always say it anyways. It's buy the rumor, sell the news. So today is Apple Day, up 1%. Big run up yesterday, 4, 5, 6%, depending on when you looked at it. Let's see what we have today in store, man. JP Morgan, Apple, two stocks that I gave big, long predictions to just a couple weeks ago. And right now, people are running their wheelbarrows with these stocks. It may be time to cash out a little bit, though. We'll talk about that soon, Brendan.
Yeah, 1 p.m. This afternoon is going to be the iPhone 12 event, 10 a.m. if you're on the Pacific time. Let's have a look at how traders fared here at Day Trade the World. Yesterday was a holiday in Canada, but still lots to trade, mostly Europe. Look at these numbers coming out of Europe yesterday. A whole mishmash of different markets here, 15,000. Dublin, some German content there, 14,000. I got to go all the way down to number 3 to get to U.S. there, 10,000. More Europe, so lots of opportunities over in the European landscape coming yesterday. Let's have a look at what is coming up a little bit later in the show. Brand new educational video for you. Yeah, we're going to get back into trading terms, common trading terms that we use a lot here on the show, but also good to know in general when it comes to referring to specific things both in the market and also with trading. So Valeria will have that link for you in the chat coming up around 11:45. Speaking of Valeria, yeah, wearing black today. I didn't get that memo apparently either. Let's go over to the desk and say good morning to her.
Good morning, Brandon, and hello, everyone. I wish you a very profitable day. Please subscribe to our channel, share the link with friends, and smash the like button. Take it away, Brandon.
All right, let's jump into what's moving around in the pre-market, guys. If you haven't done so already, make sure you sign up for the watch list. We send it out every single morning before we come on at 9 a.m. All the stocks that are moving around in the pre-market with news. We discuss the news and come up with a game plan on how to go about trading them. The first one going to be Johnson & Johnson. Unexpected announcement from J&J. They came out and said that they've had to pause their late-stage potential vaccine trial because of an unexpected and unexplained illness from one of the participants in the trial. They said they're going to reevaluate the medical advice that they are given and decide at that point whether or not they will even be able to resume this trial. So it doesn't sound good for this one, guys.
Yeah, we've seen trial pauses before. It's not a clinical hold. I think that's a little bit more of a serious term you'll see thrown out there. But obviously you do a 60,000 person study. That means things are going to happen. So this is what you talk about in the process. Johnson & Johnson was on a fantastic little run here the last couple of weeks, just giving you a nice for Johnson & Johnson, because it's really only about like a 5% move to the upside, which is fantastic, of course, for a name like this. This little pullback, I'm going to be watching to see if we can hold, to some point of recovery above that 150 mark. That's going to be sort of like this go zone area. If it dips down around this 47 where there was some chop, that seems like it'll be a good place to buy. You want to see this play out. We saw this with AstraZeneca. They were under pressure for a little bit when this did happen. Expect some updates to come in the next couple of days. Everything is all about this timeline. These are J&J is obviously one of the biggest and best companies trying to produce a vaccine, and I think they're going to get it done. It's just a matter of this could be a slight delay for them, or it could be a little bit longer. That could depress the stock. Look for a buying opportunity. Support at 147, 146. I'd love it if it holds 150 today. Then you might get an immediate response.
Look, so the vaccine, basically, all these vaccines are done. They're just waiting for FDA approval. And the problem is that they keep running into some issues, right? So like we said, it's a big study. So we'll just wait to see. This is nothing, man. Down 1.17%. Not worried about this one. 150.40, looking to take this off. It's 200,000 shares. The thing is here, let's look at the imbalance locator quickly. We have Ford on there, and you guys know about Ford. That's cooking up some profits. Hopefully you guys had that below 7 last week when we gave it to you. I don't even see J&J on here, so I'm not thinking that's going to be really any major moves. I think there's better stocks out there to trade today. 150, obviously, as a key psychological level. We'll see if it comes down here to 149 and change. If so, we'll pick some up and run it back through 150. But right now, it's kind of, for me, this stock really a nothing burger right now. There's just better stocks today.
All right, guys, let's go on to the next one. Speaking of bigger and better, possibly Apple. We talked about it yesterday. Big move up again in the pre-market. As you saw on Sean's chart there, we are starting to fade off a little bit. As I mentioned, 1 p.m. Eastern, the much anticipated 5G iPhone 12 said to be released to the world. So we'll see about some of the details that are included in the phone. We'll see about pricing. There's a lot of speculation online about pricing, but it's pretty much, there's lots of pictures. If you want to see it, it's already out there online. You can go and have a look. But we're coming back in here, guys, with Apple.
Look, we're already, I already took the short because it broke. I talked about why it broke yesterday's high back to the downside, so we'll average into that one and then just see if it wants to take out today's high. If it does do that, we'll get out. Like you guys know, it's not a major position right now. It will get bigger as we go up to VWAP here, but I'm not gonna rest too much into this short. It could take out the top. If it does do that, though, what I'm looking for here is we run to 126.50, and then we just see what happens. I expect it to maybe go up maybe 50, 60 more cents from there on maybe just a couple candles, and then start to head back to the south side. Look, no matter what happens, people are going to be disappointed. I always feel that with everything, right? They're going to release the phone. There's going to be people that love it. There's going to be people that don't like the style. There's going to be people that think it's too overpriced. There's going to be people that think it's too underpriced. Either way, Apple's going to move today, and I like it to the short side. And the main reason is not just because of what it's, the action it's doing today. First of all, I thought it would be up a little bit more than this coming into this morning. But it's just a big run, man. It was 115, then it was 120, and now today it's 126. You go back a couple days, you're down to 112. We can just keep going. This stock has just been on a huge run. So I like Apple to the short side here. I just think it's one of those days where, look, The news is out there already. We know what they're coming with. And let's just see if they bring all the pizzazz. And it's coming at 1 o'clock, so we'll be able to trade it until then. And I just like to short through, before the high of the day. Let it run up to that. If we get squeezed out, we get squeezed out. But then we're hammering the short again. So I'm going to be short all day.
Yeah, I like the opportunity for the rollover, like the gap up, roll short off of that high. Hopefully, my anticipation usually for this type of move is to get some buying in anticipation off of the open. That might not happen given that it's testing the lows, but if it does, I'm looking for that test right at 930 up around those highs. Get back in on some kind of rollover, likely around a 126 quarter, assuming it stalls out at that high of day. If we do sell into lunchtime, I think there's an opportunity, if it does give you any consolidation at 122.50 or so, or down at 120, if it got that far, sort of going into the event, you might get a bit of a sympathy buy bouncing into it. The anticipated thing, other than the phones, of course, to watch out for is they should be making an announcement regarding headphones and their standalone. So look out for that. If that disappoints, maybe make further weigh on the stock after the announcement comes through.
All right, guys, going to go to JP Morgan here. Just looking at this loop. A lot of people mentioned this on Twitter already this morning, but LOOP mentioned in a Hindenburg tweet this morning. It's a little software company. It's actually primary listings over in the UK, but down big time, 36% here on a Hindenburg note. Just got an alert there. It's coming back towards day lows if you're watching Loop this morning. Let's go over to JP Morgan. Beat handily in their latest earnings report. Second quarter in a row, it came to trading revenue, big-time trading revenue for both JP Morgan, it's worth mentioning, and Citigroup. But top and bottom lines handily beat for JP Morgan. It was $9.44 billion, or $2.92 per share, versus $9.1 billion, or $2.68 on the estimate. So nice look once again for JPM.
Yeah, I'm not expecting much from JP Morgan. I'm actually really happy with the beat. I don't think this is a great time for banks. We did make the call back down at $94 to buy this thing. You're now in the money 12%. Probably worth taking here. Another 1% upside right here on JP Morgan today. It's the low rates. It's things like that just scare me a little bit. There's going to be a lot of unemployment for a while. Small businesses will continue to struggle, even here in Canada. And I know JP Morgan doesn't do any business here really, but we have issues here as well with new closings of restaurants, things like that. I just think the small guy's going to get hit. And JP Morgan has a lot of loans out there, and I know they keep revising their loan loss provisions and whatnot. But look, JP Morgan, you can see people got super excited on the release up to 104 and change. Now you're coming back in. I do look for this to break 103.37 back down to the downside, and then even maybe take out yesterday's. And this is what happens. It's similar to Google. Google will come out with a great report and then get smashed that day. And I think that's just what happens with the banks. This is a nice run up. We're well above now. We're about, well, not well above. We're 5% above the 50-period moving average. We're kind of in this little loop spot here. I would have got a lot more excited about this if we broke out above this 107 area. So it's not there. So right now we're at the top of this range. That's why I think it gets hit back down. And I don't think we go back down to $100 today, but I think we can probably see yesterday's close, which is 103, 102, it's 80 or so. So right now that's nothing. That's only 60 cents down. But yeah, I'd look to go short rather than long this thing, and we're right at the right spot. So again, it's earnings season, so we're going to take things a little slow. We're not going to smash it right off the bat. We're going to let it settle down, see what people think, and then make our judgments there. But 1% up seems to be good for me on a major bank. I'd be looking to sell this thing, especially if we get up here 104 and a quarter. We'll sell it.
I mean, bond trading revenues and fixed income and other trading revenues are going to be solid for them, but not necessarily what might have happened earlier in the year, and that might slow down as the market isn't quite as volatile as it was before. The big number, of course, was the loan loss provision. When they're decreasing that number, that's bullish for them. I would have liked to see us get to 105, 106 on this move. I still think there's a good chance that we might test at least a little bit higher towards that mark before we get to that 100 support. Missed a dip buy opportunity that we called out for you guys on Thursday. I believe, well, actually, no, it was on Friday. I don't think I will let that happen again. If it comes down into that price, I think it's a good opportunity. But as you saw, it already made this move up here. We need to break out. I would tend to think I'd rather be shorting it off of that high rather than jumping in, because I do think it was a fantastic report, and there might be some money thinking a little bit longer term for the banks, because your time horizons, of course, have to be a little bit different from some of the other sectors.
Before we get to Disney, guys, there was a super chat there from Japan. Nato Shinobi, all the way from Japan. Mentioned, I think it was Baba. Yeah, Alibaba there. You guys want to have a look at Baba real quick?
I love Alibaba. I've been loving Alibaba for a very, very long time. The Randster's over right there, and he remembers where I called this stock for him. $220, Randy, for Alibaba. It's yesterday 310, today 305.99. So yeah, look, all the Chinese. I mean, obviously, I think you said this from Japan. So you know some of the rhetoric there that's been happening with the U.S. and Asia. Look, Singles Day, Alibaba's going to blow out Prime Day. We know that's going to happen. Baba's going to have the biggest Singles Day ever because everybody's sitting there at home. They have Ant coming, Ant Financial. There's, they're spinning off a bunch of different things. Alibaba, their bank is J.P. Morgan or PricewaterhouseCoopers, sorry, is their auditing firm. So I'm not super worried about them getting hit in all this Chinese rhetoric. I think it's clear sales for Alibaba, man. I mean, as long as you're bullish on the market, then I don't know if there's a stock that you could get your money in any better than Alibaba. Like, you bounce off the 50 period, 50 period, 50 period. It hovers around, it bounces off. Like, they don't want to sell this thing. It had opportunities to tank, and it never did. So right here, obviously the best time to buy would be 280, 290 if we do get a pullback into that level. But right now, it's clear sailing, man. I love Alibaba to the north side, and I don't think there's anything going to stop this. The best Chinese stock you could possibly buy, in my opinion, Alibaba. Go for it. They're in everything. Ant Financial, I think, is going to be huge, especially if they're able to IPO it over here as well. So there's lots happening for Alibaba. I like it. But if you're going to build a long-term position, start now. Don't put it all in. Wait for a possible pullback. I think with the election coming, I mean, there could be obviously more Chinese news. You've seen these stocks take off. This is where the last election happened. It was right around here. And then they saw that all of the pressure came off with Biden looking pretty good and some of the anti-Chinese rhetoric coming from Trump. So I like Alibaba to the north side. Brendan, thanks for bringing that up.
All right, guys, we'll shift down to Walt Disney next. Out aftermarket yesterday talking about restructuring their media and entertainment business to focus more solely on streaming, both on the content side and infrastructure side. So they like that. Big move up for Disney aftermarket yesterday. We're trading in that kind of top end of the range from that big pop yesterday, guys.
Yeah, and holding it too. And I kind of remember people were jokingly saying things like, "Oh, that Mulan $30 is too expensive. People are going to pay that for streaming." The numbers are going to still come through to see how that actually did for Disney, making a theater release, major theater release on their Disney Plus vehicle. The reality is these changes were coming. I think most people sort of realize that. And Disney's getting out in front of it. I think it's a fantastic move by them. There is a solid still opportunity here as Disney hasn't really gotten back up to this 135 to 37 resistance point. I'd like to be able to get a shot at it if it dips back down towards this sort of the top end of that range was like 128 if you want to go the last couple of weeks. If it gives you that, I'll be looking to see if I can't buy on any kind of market weakness. We're relatively flat on the day today, but I do like an opportunity to take Disney through this top. Yesterday's high, 131.80. I think Disney's going to be a strong one. I'm a little bit biased. I was literally watching Disney Plus with the daughter yesterday for like the millionth time. Watching Monsters Inc. on there, so I don't know. I'm a fan here. I think they're making the right move for that long term.
Look, Disney's one of the largest holdings in my portfolio, and thank God we are dipping into it down here as well at 80.90. Look, Disney's already been up here before, and it's nice to see some activists coming in trying to unlock some shareholder value. They did it. Welcome to that. It's up 3.5%. No surprise there. Disney Plus, great for kids, Neil, for sure, and I think that they're trying to make different things happen with that platform. The revenues are still coming there. I love Disney. I love them long term, and especially once travel starts coming up, we'll take Disney. So now it's above the 50-period moving average of about 128, and now you get a bottom of 129. It just made it. You can see there's a lot of action. There's a lot of people wondering what this is going to do, so we'll wait to that. I wrote down here Disney 131, but that's just because that was the top yesterday when some of these reports came out. Came out about 4:30 or so yesterday that this is what they wanted to do with the company. So I'm looking at the 131 break, but it's come down a lot. So let's just check out the imbalance locator quickly to see why. Is it a sell here? No, it's a buy. So it's 150,000 shares to buy. It's already done 400,000. I like Disney to the long side. It's just got to get up here. I'm not touching it till 131, but we will be going long. We've also averaged into our our Apple position right here. A couple shorts, like we said we do. So right now we are short Apple here. And again, we're going to wait till it blows off this top here. Then we'll get out. That could happen off open. It looks like there's a lot of momentum coming. Then we'll wait for 127. And then hopefully we could bounce it back down through 127 if we miss on this. But this is not a huge position. I'm not even in one normal unit for me yet. So more to come on that one. We'll see if it bounces off 125.
All right, guys, let's talk about some automakers here. We mentioned Ford yesterday, really, really strong right out of the gate on the morning yesterday. Back on the list this morning. I want to talk about Workhorse, though. Workhorse back on watch again this morning. Not really doing a heck of a lot in the pre-market, but we mentioned yesterday, I had to dig hard for this, but it was a Roth Capital analyst, Craig Irwin, who said the USPS decision could be coming any day now. So that's kind of the catalyst for Workhorse, obviously to the upside. But back to kind of the downside here this morning. Worth watching, though, guys, along with Ford.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to be interested just to see what happened in the afternoon yesterday. Of course, I wasn't here, but you track some of these stocks, and you look at this bottom end of the range. It's like a $1, 27.65 area, all the way down to this, what you'd like to think will support at 26.30. So if you break through some of that, I think you're looking for places to maybe find consolidation. 25 is an obvious one. Breakout through there last week, a bit of a top the day before. So I think if we make a break to the downside here on Workhorse, you're looking for a bounce at that 25. I missed out on a great a couple of dip buy opportunities last week. One of them I mentioned JPM at 100. I think Workhorse, I'll be looking at that through 25 even. If I can catch that, I'll be very, very pleased. I'd love to see if we can roll over on this. I'd like to see if we can't be selling at least a little bit here off of this 27.70 area. If it gives you a test off the open, we're $1 away now. It feels like that pre-market trade might have already come in, and Workhorse has done 1.3 million in volume, so this is not on necessarily light volume here. We'll watch to see if that double top can hold, but really, it's just sort of an afternoon close area. No significance to it other than the fact that it happens to also be the pre-market high.
Where is my, I don't even know where my mouse is on here. I can't find anything. Oh, okay, here it is. Ford right now, I like Ford through 790. We've talked about that. You guys know we gave that to you sub 7, so I hope you guys are in that one for sure. That is Ford. What we're doing right now is actually going over our morning watch list, right? So if you want to subscribe to this, it's absolutely free, and it's like the only thing that I look at now. I used to go over a bunch of different websites, try to find out different news and whatnot, but not necessary anymore. We put together this morning movers, J&J, Apple, JP Morgan. It's literally everything. We haven't got to Citigroup yet. Disney, well, we're probably skipping it. Ford, Workhorse, everything. We're going to talk about Beyond Meat soon. More SPACs, some of these other little stocks here, EARS, MDGS, PEC. They're all here, and it's absolutely free. So I think it's a mistake if you don't sign up for our watch list. Look, if you don't like it, hit unsubscribe. I mean, there's absolutely nothing else. What you could do is you read over, tells you everything that's happening. What is MDGS? What is it doing today? What's the percentage move on this name? So I think that this is something that's just super, super valuable. And look, we put it together for free. We're not, peddling anything here for you. I just think that if you're going to be a trader, you can see all of our journeys up on our stock market wisdom page. We all talk about, getting the information and trading what is in play, right? And I think that if you're not going to get the watch list, then you're missing out on something. So watchlist.tradertv.live. Valeria's dropping the link. You can also go to our tradertv.live webpage, and the watch list sign up is right there. And I think, Brendan, it's a mistake if they don't get it. If you don't like it, hit unsubscribe, but definitely give it a try.
It's free, absolutely free. We do your homework for you guys. Let's go to Beyond Meat. Sean mentioned it there. Back on watch this morning. Very, very strong over the past 3 or 4 sessions to the upside. It was a Bernstein analyst coming out lowering downgrading the stock this morning to underperform from market perform. So a little bit of a negative connotation. They were talking about a $136 price target. It's obviously above that now. So first day in a while, guys, we're seeing Beyond Meat back to the downside.
I'm kicking myself. He's one of those, look, you take days off, things are going to happen in the markets. You're going to get some moves. You get this double top that gets made like 196, 197 area. Slight gap above that price, and then this nice little flush right at previous day's high, and then all the way down, basically into the previous day, and that, of course, would have been Friday's lows. So that was a nice little setup. You're getting the gap down. So I'm going to look at sort of a similar type of thing here. You go before that little ramp up towards that $200 level, and the failure at that price was this 184 mark. I'll be looking for that as a rollover short. If it breaks, I'm going to go short and Beyond Meat. Try to give it to that pre-market high. Now, some of these wicks, if you look at this one here on some volume, that's like 186.70 or so. The other one, more of a dark pool dump. So you want to have an area stop there. These hard prices on lower volume don't mean too much. It's only 100,000 shares in the pre-market. So I don't want to put too much emphasis into those top levels. Area stop here around 187, but 184 break short for me. That setup obviously would have worked pretty solid for you yesterday, but let's try it again today.
Oh, Burstein. Yeah, look, up 150%. Beyond Meat's in a category by itself right now. And, you know, shorting through what, I mean, basically you can just play the breaks here. 185.50 is right there, as is 184. So they're just nice, even levels on the daily chart. I mean, Neil just went over a few levels there. You know, you are coming back off that 200. We did talk about Roku 200 the other day, and that's way over. And then now Beyond Meat bouncing back downside with that 200. Look, I think any kind of a pullback, if you can get a pullback into 170, it's definitely a buy. But today, right now, making a move down on that. Look, it's only down 3%. You see the moves. This is September 29th. So this was 2 weeks ago. It was 150 all the way up to 200. So yeah, steam coming out of Beyond Meat a little bit today on that downgrade. To me, it's nothing significant in the report, at least from what I can see from the notes. So I prefer the long, but again, this is just one of those stocks that we've seen it move $4 or $5 off the open. So it could go either way right now. We're going to wait to see what it does do. And I know I'm not making a big bold call or anything on Beyond Meat here, but I prefer the long through 185.50 rather than the short through 184. But again, man, Beyond Meat, it can move $10. Both ways. So we'll just wait to see. And if it's going to move major one way, it's going to be down today, right? It's not going to retrace all the way back up. It doesn't really have any reasons to do that. So if you're favoring a bigger move, I would look short, but you could scalp this from 185.50, I think maybe to halfway back, 187.50, 188, something like that.
All right, guys, let's go to Arun and have a look at the overall market. We're back inside of yesterday's range on the futures. Very, very strong. The overall market was yesterday, as we were talking about throughout the show. Morning, Arun. Yeah, we're back inside, struggling at the top end of the range here, it looks like.
Yeah, and I think after a day like yesterday, today is more cleaner and easier to read because the edges have been set. Yesterday's high in the afternoon, 35.40, and early this morning around the European Open, 35.10. These edges have been set, and now it's just a matter of finding out how you're going to play either in front of those levels or if they break. I'm looking for the breakout, of course. It doesn't matter the direction. I have no bias. I don't care. But if we break out in either direction, the break is there. Then you take the opposite side as the stop point. So if 10 breaks, 40 is a stop. If 40 breaks, 10 is a stop. Of course, you can also look for trades in front of it. I lean more towards the break. But if there's a really good setup in front of either one of those levels, go ahead and take them. It's pretty straightforward. After a day like yesterday, which kind of just ran straight up without giving you too many options, now you have pretty clear options in front of you. And hopefully this is one of those days where we do get a chance to make a move, especially with Apple coming out later in the day. I think that will, given Apple has a huge weight in both the S&P and the NASDAQ, we really do have a chance of moving whichever direction Apple decides to go. I think it's going to drag the indexes with it.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Arun. Yeah, it might be a bit of a wait and see kind of a morning so far. One little one to look at so far this morning, ears, that Auris Medical. The story is almost unbelievable, but it happened apparently. Bloomberg mentioned Auris Medical instead of Auris Health in a report involving J&J, Johnson & Johnson, and some outstanding fees, but it's actually Auris Health that was supposed to be mentioned in that article, not Auris Medical, which is this company. So big gap up on the initial rumor that Bloomberg mentioned, but it has nothing to do with this company apparently. So we're already fading in. A lot of this move already happened already, but any kind of bounce into 150, 160, worth a look on EARS, guys.
Yeah, great.
Thanks a lot,
yeah, great look there. Well, Apple did come back down a little bit and touched 40s. So our average price right now is 37. So we're going to be close to being in the money or close to we'll be at the money hopefully by the time Apple wants to open up here. Just watching that name. 7 million shares already almost off the open. It'll be easily doing that. Apple's coming right down now, guys. So watch out. I do have some bids down here at 125 where we bounced before. So we'll get out of some of that for 40 cents, hopefully. And then hopefully the floodgates will open back up to the downside here. So Apple right now there it goes. So now it's going back into the money for us. And good trade here on Apple, hopefully making moves to the downside.
Yeah, just that ERES. I'm going to short every single pop that comes into that 104, so 145, 150 range. Done it a couple times already this morning, but I'm heavily taking out. The volume is so fantastic at 23 million. Just got to take advantage of that. I do want to jump to MDGS. I know you guys are going to see all of these names on our watch list. We don't always get to every single one of them. This one looks like it's going to be an opportunity for a rollover trade as it consolidates a little bit lower here with just 10 seconds to go, guys, but it's going to be a $3 move for me on that if we can get the share shortable. But let's drop that little bell. It's apparently Black Tuesday. Oh, yeah, a little bit delayed. What is that, Randy, and why are you hitting the bell with it?
Who knows? Okay, guys. Guys, we can already hit the air horn. Apple, we already got that bid out at 125 for a 40-cent win. So right now, Apple's going. Good trade happening right now for me on Apple. To the downside, we're 20 cents plus in the money right there. Nice takeout down there, 125 even. We're going to put another bid there, see if we get a little bit more out. We're short at 125.41 right now, so a nice little 20-cent win to start the day. So a little bit of raining down some cash. I want 125 to break, and here it comes. Let's go. A big trade to start the day here on Mr. Apple.
And of course, we talked about Beyond Meat, opportunity for us at 184 on the break to the downside. Immediately goes all the way down to like 182.76. So could have had almost a $1 winner. I haven't taken it off. I want to round into this position if I can. Take a few more shares here if I can get them, guys. Good opportunity. Beyond Meat starting to head back towards the upside. I want to take more shares if I can around that 184 mark, but I had to pay down to 183.60. Let's see if I can improve my price as was part of the plan. You might see me trading in Transat. Air Canada finalized their deal with that company for $5.
Guys, right now, yeah, Apple down $1 right now, guys. Apple tanking. You guys were talking about Apple. You want to know what was going on. We've got the winner. We turned bearish on Apple. What up, Brendan?
Some of the airlines moving right out of the gate here. Delta with early weakness, guys. Apparently, the company CEO talking about their cash burn rate that's higher than expected. Big move down on that in the pre-market, but trying to get back above 32 for Delta, guys.
All right, we're not going to get out. We're not going to get out of Apple here. Apple just keeps
DPHC, guys. This was, of course, on the watch list as well. Burst through that 25. No consolidation there. We'll look for 24 if there's an opportunity. Beyond Meat headed southbound heavily. I got about a $1.50 winner here. We did talk about rounding into some more shares because ultimately wanted a 184 break. So that's what I've gone ahead and done on Beyond Meat. We did take some more on a pop, but already a nice little short on Beyond. Again, this is not to say that it's a bad story here with the company. But you had that big run. Yesterday, you had that great fall off. Same thing happening here off a cliff at that 184. This is the consolidation for the first leg, 182. It breaks that. I'm looking 177 to 178 for an ultimate target. That's a bit of a pie in the sky dream, but I'll take a $1.50 off the open if I can get it every day.
Guys, right here, here's a $2 right now for Apple. Apple tanking even more. So $2 in the money here on Apple. Look, we put on the risk. We talk about it. And here you go. So the tank just continues here on Apple. I hope you guys had this with us. We did talk about why we liked it. And here it comes. $2.20 now in the money on Apple, man. Everything turning upside right now for us. Big time trading here. The NASDAQ falling down. No surprise. Boom! $2.50 now in the money on Apple. Bang, bang, bang. It just keeps on coming. Glad you're here today, guys. Big time wins right now. Let's take a little bit off. $2.50. $3 in the money right now. Apple goes all face slappy for us right here. Let's take some out. There it is. $3 win on Apple. We still have a little bit left. Big time trade right there. Hit the winners. Chicken dinners, man. It's a bullseye for Apple right there. You're welcome, guys. Hope you have that.
Just getting over into both of our shorts here, guys. Of course, still in the money and beyond. I've got a trail. I'm going to give it back to 185. Now that it's gone this deep, you have to consider, you want to make sure it doesn't turn into a losing trade. So if it takes out 185, I'll be all out after I try to get a bit of a reload. 177 is going to be the ultimate target area. I'd like to see it churn through 180, likely to catch a bounce off that level. So going to be prepared to take a $4 winner if we have to on beyond, but I think we can come a little bit deeper. I'll get you guys back to ears. It continues its slide down. There was no pullback off the open to get me into more. It got to like 130 or so. I wanted 135, 140. I will have to be happy. It was an 84-cent stock, and they were up because they were accidentally mentioned in a report they shouldn't have been. No reason why it shouldn't go back to penny stock status at some point today, guys. So I don't want to say an easy short, but sometimes, yeah, if it's in the watch list, you read the reason. That's not a typo. They were just the wrong mention. Easy short, guys.
What's up, B?
I mentioned this one, guys, the day that this news actually came out. Opco Health, they were talking about their COVID-19 test. So they have a test kit that was going to be used in New York State schools. So apparently that testing has now begun. So big time volume spike here at the open for OPK, guys.
All right, 123.75 or so. We'll get out of this Apple short here. This is $3 in the money. So, I mean, we can say whatever we want. We hammered it in the pre-market. Like I said, we were close to about 1 unit. So this is a good trade, man. I mean, we're pretty good on this one right now. $3 in the money. And I'm glad for a lot of people because a lot of people looking at Apple, obviously, as well as Beyond Meat there as well. Okay, Disney does make a bottom of 129, 129.50. Now it's trying to take out that 131. So I think this is worth another shot here. Disney to the high side. I would have rather have waited. Look at Apple, just keeps going. I would rather have waited for Disney to come back down, which it's doing right now. So let's find some spots to pick it up. Maybe just ahead of 130. Right now, let's start to build a little Disney position with get out of about 129.50, guys.
Yeah, I'm just actually looking at Workhorse here. It is trying to rally around this $25 mark. We mentioned this sort of off the jump here that there might be an opportunity for a bit of a buy if it dips down to this price. I'm going to take my first crack at it. I think you really have to give it towards the low that it just made, 24.83 or so. But I like the dip buy off the open. If it got me there, it's already at that price. I'm going to hang on, like I said, to Beyond Meat, but 182 running into some support down at 182. So still a couple of bucks in the money, but it's trying to catch a bid on Beyond Meat. There we go, 250 in the money, but now into Workhorse. I'm only going to give this to that 83. I don't want to jump too far in front of this sword, but I did like this bottom dip buy on Workhorse if we get it. And of course, there it is. We're going to be in, going to be out. First hit already on Workhorse. Thought we'd dip buy into this one. Not going to work out for us, but I want to get us quickly back over to another name that we were mentioning. Did not mention. This was from yesterday's action, WAFU. I wasn't here to be able to trade this one, guys. WAFU, there you go. It's a fun one. But selling off again today. Obviously, you can see it came from $8. Looking for all kinds of weak, but the volume's not there. I'll short everything in front of $5 if I can. Got to get the locates first. Brennan, what do you got?
Early flush, guys, on J&J. Another one from the watch list this morning. Got all the way down to 148, but trying to get back above 149 and hold big support on the daily time frame for Johnson & Johnson at 149, guys.
Yeah, Disney also right now, we just took some more at 35. It's getting close to our kill spot on the downside right now of 129.10 or so, whatever that level was I gave you guys. 129.15. So we're getting down to that downside right now. We're long at 129.90. So we're 40 cents out right now on Disney. We are $2.25 on Apple. Nice little win. I did want to give a big shout out here to Ralph. Hey, Ralph, man, I know that you follow on Twitter and you're a great little guy for all the super chats and a great little follow as well. So thank you so much for that. $2.75 per share on Apple. Wow. Thank you for the super chat. And I'm really glad that you followed the lead there on Apple to the downside right now. My out, if anyone's holding it, is right around here. It's right where the moving average is. We're going to move it down a little bit. That's VWAP 123.75 on that one. And here comes Disney, man, right back. Let's take a little bit out right now if we can. But right now, Disney coming back to the upside right now. We'll see if it can go through 131. That's when we'll take some more shares. But right now, a nice little average. Tried to go, man. Stop there at 130. So let's see if Apple can get above 130 here. Take a little bit off just to make sure we protect some of this downside here.
Yeah, in the context, of course, the market falling off here. Just want to get you to the airlines. Ignore this wick to the upside. American didn't do that I saw. But holding to the downside is AAL. I want to see if we can't participate here, but it's like a 12.50. I think if it breaks back up, there's a decent chance you might find a bit of a floor and stability in American. I know we didn't talk about this in the pre, but I'm looking now to join the party below that 12.50 mark. Beyond Meat is catching a bit of a bid here. So, I'm actually thinking about a good opportunity to get back into some more shares. I talked about this 84 to 85 range. If I can get anything close, I'll jump back into the short. My stop is now 85, not high of day. So I'm not flipping to a long. I'm just covering shorts at that price. But I'd love to be able to catch a bounce to get more in the south side.
All right, guys, here we go. Disney back up to 130. Cashed it out a little bit already. So good little trade on Disney. Our average price is 90. We just took some out 90s. We got some out 30s. Now our average price 70. So not quite money yet. But if it does stay above 130, then we'll get it. Apple, though, that's more the money sign. It's now coming back down, back to day's low, 122.21. The thing about this Disney trade, man, if the futures keep falling like this, then yeah, this is not going to get going. We do have an offer upside right now, 130.20 or so, to get out of a little bit more of these shares, just in case it goes back upside. Did I hear Brendan?
Medical equipment maker, guys, InMode, INMD, another earnings name today. Big, huge pop in the pre-market here when they reported. Got as high as 52 there, but we're all the way back to 44 now, kind of coming off. 12% though still for INMD, guys.
All right, all right. Okay, here goes Apple, guys. Right down. I mean, no roller coaster really today, unless you're long Apple. It's funny because I dropped the kid off at university yesterday, and I told him, I said, don't buy any more Apple because right now it got heated. He was so impressed with the large move. He's long at about equivalent of about $100, and I said maybe it was a sell the event type of thing today. So bang, we put on our hat, and boom, it's a $4 winner right now on Apple. Apple keeps on tanking. $4+ now in the money. Ding, 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 all the way, man. This is why I'm a little nervous. That's why we get out of some Disney, because Disney's not going to go up and Apple go down. Disney's following the market. We already talked about that a lot yesterday with Arun, or just without Arun, how hard Apple is in the indexes and what that means to NASDAQ and these markets completely falling. So, yeah, you're seeing Apple come off. Disney also coming off. We're long at 129.69. We basically got out for flat there, and now we're trying to let this thing run higher. But right now we're at that kill spot for me with Disney. May average in a little bit more down here, though.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Disney, I mean, I was looking for the dip into this range. It didn't quite get to this 129 for me, but that's where I'd like to defend it, that 50. Also at 127 could be a look. I tried to get more shares here on Beyond Meat, but I always try to get it on the way down instead of on the way up, so I didn't stand in front of the train. You saw it wick up. It did take out 183. 50 or so there was a bit of an opportunity. It's still heading southbound. If we hold below 183, I feel the only place I'm going to be able to add is below that price to that short trade. So it's a good one. I got no problems with it. MDGS, for those of you that are watching this one on the watch list, if you are long in this name, my look was going to be if it broke back below and held 3 even, to be shorting it. We don't have the low case, but the volume is picking up and it's starting to appear at least a little bit strong. This could be a potential runner if it were to take out 370. Just to go over some levels here, if it does break that high, I'm looking to 4.25, and ultimately 5.25 would be the 2 targets to the upside. It's not there yet, but good to have a plan in place in the off chance that this one does break and turn into a further runner. It's already up 70%. Could see a little bit more. Looking a tiny bit strong on MDGS.
MDGS. Okay, yeah, right now we're trading some luck in coffee. So Disney comes out there on that flush down through 129. I'm not even going to hold this through 129. That's why we got a little aggressive there at 129.15. I just hope it wasn't the wrong move, getting flushed out of that one. Apple, downside, we changed it. 123.50 is going to be our new target out, Brendan.
Guys, anytime there's negative vaccine-related news on a company, some of the other companies that are in the vaccine game get a bit of a bid. Just having a look at Vaxart, they're starting their final late-stage trial on a vaccine candidate. We'll flip over to Moderna as well. mRNA up 5.5%. No news on Moderna, but some of the other vaccine names very strong today, guys.
Speaking of vaccine names, J&J does catch a bounce off of 148. It's back up to that 150 level. Wanted to see if it could hold above it, but obviously if I like it as support, potential support, it's going to likely be resistance. This is a rollover that's a trade I got to take. You look at the aftermarket, you look at the pre-market action here, 150 even. If I can short it right off this level, only risking about 50 cents or so, maybe a little bit more depending on slippage, I will take this shot. Beyond Meat still holding that 182, so it's dipped like 2.5 in the money. I am looking for a bigger target than that, but going to get into some J&J here off that 150. I did like that break back to the upside, but I'll short it first and then see if the long can work out eventually. Let's get going down here, Beyond Meat. I was expecting 177 if it breaks 180. 181 has been the support level, unfortunately for me, so only $1.50 to 2 in the money on that name.
All right, that's still good. Disney breaking 129 to the downside, so we've already talked about that one. We're out of Disney, and we'll wait to see what that's going to do. Updated on the out, 123.50 there on Apple. I'm going to do some more work to see if we can find a better level for you right now on Apple to get out, just so we make sure we capture some of these profits, Mr. Wickens.
Some of the chip makers showing some early strength, guys. Micron, Deutsche Bank with an upgrade on Micron. Initial move higher, but we're right back down to the support area from the pre-market. Still 2.5% for Micron, guys.
All right.
Going to take you guys quickly back to this year's. I will be all flat if this thing goes down to $1, guys. There's been no pullback in sight. It's a psychological level. Like I said, short here a couple of times off this 145 area. If you can take that type of return, you got to make sure you put that money in your pocket and do bank it. J&J now working downside, 22 pennies in the money. Of course, we're going to look for a little bit more than that. It's a $150 stock. So if it breaks 149, we'll start covering that back in front of the current low of the day, and then see if we can't work that short as well. But Beyond Meat, I might have to take this one off for $3, 181 support once again.
Guys, by the way, I gave you, and I can't believe I forgot about this one, really strange that we did, to be honest with you. This one, JP Morgan, not NASDAQ. You can't switch from Apple to JP Morgan without changing that. I said this name possibly flushes back down to yesterday, and that's exactly what it did. And more, 101.80, 102.80. So we gave you that one. Hopefully we set the pins up. I didn't take it. Too busy with this Apple and Disney trade, but JP Morgan was also flushed down. So that was no surprise there for me at all on that kind of a flush. 103, if we retake it, we could go long again on JP Morgan. Brendan, again, man?
I just saw this one. We'll let you guys trade here in a second. But iHuman, we talked about it on Friday, guys. There was an IPO on Friday. iHuman, Chinese-based company, IH, up 20%. If you remember, if I go back, this is Friday, the initial day, huge strength. Yesterday, again, huge strength to the upside. Again today, 3 days in a row, big-time volume here, 20% for IH.
And out of Brendan into winner, we'll go Yeehaw. Haven't hit that since last week, obviously. But J&J, we talked about this 150 level when we're going over the watch list. Able to get a rollover off of it. I'll still take a breakout long if we get it. Some out here, VWAP 149. It did break. I got out on the south side. Use those other people's stops to your advantage. So quick 60-cent winner on the first third of that position. I'm not going to round into more shares because I only took a third off. If I do get another leg off in front of this low of the day, 184, I might consider shorting one more time in front of 150. Still going to have that break, guys. I like it if we get a recovery. Ear to the ground. I don't expect any kind of a resolution in terms of when the trial would restart for J&J, but at some point we're probably going to get that news and rumors of it this week, so you got to be prepared for it. Beyond Meat, like I said, that 181 turned into a bit of support. This is like a double, triple, 1 minute, whatever you want to call it, bottom. So I'm going to get out. Like I said, I might only be able to take like 250 to 3. Ends up being 250 on that last entry so that I can reload. And I just got back in front of 184. 185 is the new stop area. So rinse and repeat here in Beyond Meat, third short of the day. Basically the same price, 183.56. A little better right off that open, being able to get 184.
We've updated our Apple 123.30. See if we can update it again, 122.70. I'm just looking at a 3-minute chart here and watching the moving averages and whatnot to make sure that we don't let this Apple come all the way back to the high side. So I think 122.60 will get out of Apple. I was looking at JP Morgan. I do like this trade. This is one of the setups right now. Coming back down, decent report, back to the upside now. I think it has potential, but it has to break through 102.50. If it does that, then we're going to be all over this name. JP Morgan for the long side, breaking through 102.50. That should be good. That is for sure. Let's check out Microsoft. So that's one. That's basically the only idea that I'm really working with right now. We can check back on Microsoft here. And okay, 222.60 possibly. Again, if it can come back to this side, 223, I think that's a great little long on Microsoft as well. So you can put your limit orders in if it breaks through 223. That's a good one. Basing out down here. I just worry about this NASDAQ. I mean, I love to go long on a lot of these names right now. It's just, if it keeps on falling like this and Apple keeps on falling, then yeah, where do we wind up getting out? It's a $4 winner right now for Apple, and not really too certain about Microsoft right here. But I'm going to put in the new Apple target, and that is 122.60 to get out. Look, that's right here, guys. 120. Let me see if I can zoom this in for you. 122.60. This may actually not even be a horrible spot to reverse it to a long. So 122.60 is where we're going to get out, and baby test the long here. 122.60, guys. Back to Brendan.
We mentioned Workhorse in the pre-market, guys, straight to the downside here, 8%. They're now talking about a possible delay in that USPS decision. So that Roth Capital report came out suggesting that that decision may come any day now, but possibly could also have been delayed. 25 was a big level there, just got taken out on decent volume, 8% for Workhorse, guys.
Yeah, we were looking at that level, and there you go. That can do it for that downside play. I'm not going to bottom pick that name, but as far as Disney goes, looking to this 128, bounce off this level. This was a turning point. You go all the way back into like the 22nd, 23rd of last month. Nice little top that it just burst through on the gap. If it can hold this, I think that's going to be the level to work off of now that we've seen a bit of a bounce through. It did break it very briefly, so low of the day is not going to be 128, 127.90 technically. But I like that level. If it comes down anywhere close to it again, I'll take that long. I did get back into Beyond Meat. It's only in the money about 20 or 30 cents, a reload at 183.56. And of course, Ears and J&J both have those on to the south side. I do want to get to that loop. It's not really doing much action. Of course, Brendan brought this one to you, I think, minutes before the open here, gapping to the downside. It's down 30%, but it's lots of sideways action until I see a break. Maybe tries to fill in the gap through 820 or take out the low. Neither one of those things seem like they're going to happen. So this might end up being a sleeper today, but worth having on watch. The volume is there, and of course, down 30%. It's going to have volatility.
Okay, so we're putting some risk on right now. Long AMD here, 84.66. Taking some out already, 70s. We're up to 74. Next out, 85 or so to the upside. Here comes fading back down, though. Apple, we get out, and we did reverse small, long, small, small. We're only going to hold this one here to see if it does take out this bottom, 121.80. But right now, NASDAQ, we thought was turning a little bit. We do have AMD risk on and Apple risk on right now. So long at 66 here on AMD, waiting to get out, hopefully high 70s, high 80s, and Apple long. We switched it up on that one. There it goes, 75. Let's go, AMD. A nice little backflip temporarily here on AMD, guys. What's up, Beat?
Altimmune, guys, more vaccine-related news. Altimmune out with preclinical data on their vaccine candidate this morning. That was better than expected. So a nice little pop here. 18% for ALT.
Yeah, if you go to the daily quickly on Altimmune here, 1560, 1570, that price area is going to be a bit of a resistance point. It did slap back through off of the open and might want to retest that. If it fails at that same price, I think it's going to be a fade trade all day. Also, watch out for this 1470 bottom. If that breaks, I think you can take a bit of a short through it. It looks like a good level to me. I wanted 100 on JP Morgan. I think we mentioned that one to you. Well, of course we did. We talked about that last week. But we talked about this when we went over the watch list. Bounce off 101.40. So the dip, I don't necessarily think the dip might be done here, but it's 100 that I want to defend. I might go ahead and do what I didn't do last time, which was give myself a stop at like 99.80 or 99.90, and then just have a bid ready just in case I'm not watching when JP Morgan does get to that 100. It's a trade I don't want to miss. I missed it last time and it was fantastic. You know, a nice little quick $2 retracement off that level. Let's see if we can't do the same thing again at some point. It might not happen right away, guys, but I think it's a good one on JP Morgan if we get a shot.
What's up, Brendan?
CrowdStrike, guys, we were talking about cloud names yesterday. A lot of strength in the cloud group yesterday. CrowdStrike just popping up here. You can see volume spike through day highs. There was also $150 just got taken out there. They launched a suite of new products to kind of update their current line, guys.
Wow, it's up that high, CrowdStrike? Okay, did not realize that. AMD long 66 is here. Looks like it's failing NASDAQ at this 1280. We'll see. We do have an out downside. It's not going to be a very long trade on this one just because of the way the NASDAQ's been moving and AMD. It had a hard time getting going. I'd much rather go long back downside. There it is. So we're out. Flush ourselves down. It's okay. Market be falling, I guess. But that's basically a flat trade. Small loser there on AMD, so that is what it is. I want to pick it back up, though, long. So I do think that AMD has a chance to go upside. It's only up 0.23%, but the NASDAQ needs to keep going. We're going to try to find a better spot for that one. Neil just mentioned JP Morgan. I was waiting for 102.50. Doesn't look like that's coming through. And again, I'm really happy with this trade because I don't have it on, but we told you, or I told you, that we liked it through the short side there. We just took Apple instead, but it does take out yesterday's high and now keeps moving to the downside. So JP Morgan off of a decent report up to 104 today. We did talk about taking some profits, so I do hope that you did that.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping there'd be a bit of a bounce off the open on JP Morgan. Didn't get it. Thankfully, it was looking a little bit more bearish, I think is the term we like to use around here on Beyond Meat. I just did take some shares off again. I got this rollover at 183.50 and change. I took some out in front of literally right at 183, 50-cent winner. I just got the rest out here for about $1.25 or so. And each time you test a level like this, especially when you put in a bit of a bottom at 181, I'm just going to start taking profits a little bit sooner, not anticipating it's going to be as big of a move. If this turns out to be the low, I thought maybe we get a break of 180, which would give me 177, where I think there'd be a long for you on Beyond Meat. If it breaks the low, I'm going to stay away from that breakdown trade, unfortunately, but I am going to look to bottom pick at 177 if it ever gets there. 185 looks like a good level. If it breaks through there, no shorts for me. Brendan, what do you got for us?
BlackBerry, guys, moving this morning big time. 5% move here. We're right back to the top end of the range on the daily chart for BlackBerry. They're teaming up with ServiceNow for some software communication integration. BlackBerry and ServiceNow, guys.
All right, $50 here. Oops. Yeah, got in there, did not mean to get in right away on DraftKings, but I was waiting for $50 cents, 50.45 or so to go. We get in there by accident, so let's just cancel that and get out as fast as we can. Did not mean to go long here on DKNG, although we're stuck long right now. So that's a trade right there. We're also long Apple. This is not a trade that we like. We like it. I'll get out of it in a minute. I do like it through 50.40. There we go. We're out. I do like it through 50.42 though. That is DraftKings. So let's put that order in, $50.42. Again, it's going to be back up through VWAP. We're down 1.25%. Let's just see if it can clear all this garbage and then head back to the upside. DraftKings, not really any big news on this name, so it doesn't really have the catalyst to necessarily go up. I just kind of like this, so it's not going to be a huge position, but it's going to be one that I think we can get back probably to the open, which is up here, 51.50. So let's see if we can take DraftKings for a little ride here through 50.50.
Yeah, speaking of a ride, that ALT trying to take us on a ride to the upside. If it doesn't, like I said, if it doesn't break this 1530 to 1550 type area, you're probably going to see a rollover opportunity. I think I like the break through the high of the day, definitely. That's going to be in play for me. So a couple of things to watch on ALT. Of course, there's another name that we haven't really talked about. I don't know that if you mentioned it, Sean, I apologize, but just getting back into some of the cannabis space, just looking at this bit of a retracement in ACB, you are seeing, of course, this is the one that I like to short. We talked about that last week. But this 650 area, and I'm quoting Toronto prices here. I like to trade this one over in Toronto. Just easier to get shorts for us or locates. If we test back to 650, I like to fade off of this price. This was yesterday's bottom. Also a breakout point if you go into last week. So 650 is the key area for me on ACB. Over in Toronto is where I would be trading it. Brendan's. What do you got, bud?
One of the cloud-based names we were talking about yesterday, this is on the support side of things, but Cloudera, mentioned it a couple of times yesterday, just popping up here, guys, on a huge volume spike. Apparently some takeover rumors floating around for CLDR.
Okay, Cloudera. Yeah, we saw Twilio. Actually, we can check back on Twilio. DraftKings still waiting for that one. 50.40. Yeah, we do like that one. Let's take out TWLO. Yesterday we had an $11 winner on TWLO, and look at this, 335. Wow. Twilio today. Look, yesterday was the day they had the deal. It was moving like crazy, and if you're just joining us for the first time, hit the like, hit the subscribe, man. This is what we had. We had this long yesterday on Twilio from breaking this level, 316, all the way up here to 327, and we actually made $9 on that $11 move, so that was a good one. We were long off the open on Twilio, but then got it back and made that money backside. So you can see today a lot different chart than it was yesterday. If you do take out this though, 335, 336, I don't mind Twilio to go on a little bit of a run again. So 336 on Twilio. I'm going to take a baby shot long on that one. So 336, I like that. You got to trade the names that are in the right space. So 336. Yeah, we'll just try it. Let's make sure it breaks. 336.25, guys. We're going to go long on Twilio.
Just also want to go back over to this ears. If it's going to continuously give some pops here, the first one was to 115. I'd like it to this 125, 130. I'm going to jump back in here. Look, if you're going to be up because you got accidentally named in a report, it's obviously going to be a fade trade, and it should. I can't think of a reason why it doesn't go back below $1 towards its 85-cent closing price yesterday. So I'm going to take another shot at this one. But I much prefer 125, 130. But if this is where consolidation is, then so be it. I still have a small amount left at 144. We'll wash our hands of that. Of course, it was a nice win. Let's just take it where it is now. I want to be shorting it all day long if I can until it gets to that previous close, especially below $1. So ears still firmly on the radar to the south side. J&J, that broke up, so I scalped it for a bit of a win and then took a hit on the second half of the position, guys. So it did briefly break this top, but not break out, and I'll see if I can do this here, not break through this 150.10, which is the actual high from yesterday. So I looked at it, didn't like that long break unless it's actually going to take out that previous afternoon or session high. That didn't happen, so I immediately got out of that long breakout, and I'll look for more like 150.10 to 15 or so to round into a long on J&J. But we're going to be 1 for 2 on that name. Still going to be up because we had a bigger win on the short than we lost on the way back in. But it's going to be 150.10 and change for any kind of a breakout upside.
Okay, so we still have the Apple long right now, 122.62 off of here. Does not break the bottom, so should have averaged in. But again, on a day like this, just not sure what Apple wants to do. Let me guess, AMD's ripping right now. So Apple, 13-cent win right now. We'll see if we can take off a third coming up very, very soon. I have an order at 84. Can we get it? It goes to 83 and stops. 82, 83, 84. Did I get it? Yes, we did. So there it is. A nice little win right there for Apple. That's only out of a third. We'll see if we get back to V VWAP. Right now, man, we're 2 for 2 big time on Apple. So we'll wait to see if it can come back to the upside. Now we run the long. We crushed the short for $3-4. Now let's see the long. We are also, guys, in Twilio right now. We did wait for that 336 to take it out, 336.25. It does, limit up. I cross up about 15, 20 pennies. That's what we get. 336.40 right now. Targets upside 337. We'll see if we can take $1 and then hold the rest. But right now, Twilio acting really nicely. And where's AMD? F that. AMD all the way back to the upside. Good thing we got out. We did save ourselves about 30 or 40 cents, but man, we called that. I hate when you make that call and then get out a little too early, just squeezed out. Too many shares, guys. That's what happens. At the big screen right now with Sector Watch, happening now is Brendan Wiggins.
Hey guys, let's have a look at North American markets. 30 minutes in the books here. We noticed in the pre-market, NASDAQ was leading the way as far as strength, but back to basically break even for tech stocks so far this morning with the Dow and the S&P here, both in negative territory, really just tech stocks showing some strength at this point. The Russell as well, 0.7% to the downside for small caps. Here in Toronto, TSX back open once again this morning, 0.4% to the downside. Down in Brazil, basically flat as well. For the BOVESPA, a little bit higher, but they're struggling as well. A couple things from the watch list, guys. If you haven't signed up for the watch list, it's absolutely free to you. PEC was on the watch list, still up 7%. Gave you a great fade opportunity here around $10. They secured a few contracts over in Vermont for some solar power work, one of those clean energy type names. Workhorse, we mentioned it a couple of times, sitting at 24 now. I was talking about 25 here. Slice right through that. We're down to 24. Big time volume still on the sell side for Workhorse. One more, Citigroup, the other bank that reported this morning. We didn't get to it in the pre-market, but the report was not good. Bigger than expected decline in quarterly profits, so big move down here. Back to $45 for Citigroup, guys. Back over to you.
Stock moving again to the upside. It's not the first time for Fastly. I'm sure it will not be the last either. A bit of a top here, 136.50. Just quickly, there was an opportunity for pullbacks, and we talked about those last week for some long trades. I think if it comes back into like 130 or so, that might be the level to watch. Otherwise, it's going to be a break, and I would wait for a 136.50 break, and I've seen that trade, and it worked for us last week when we did take one of those tops. But if you do it early here at 136, I think you might get a bit of a snap down. So I'll wait for an actual high break. If it consolidates off that 36 and cannot break through before lunchtime, that would possibly indicate a short, but I'm going to stay away from it at least for now. If Beyond Meat did come back to that 185 level. That was, of course, the level we've been working off of. I waited till it got all the way up here to literally short it 10 cents in front. It immediately broke through. You're going to see it go all the way through the pre-market high, so it wouldn't have mattered which stop I had. I had a 185 stop, so we lose 30 cents on that trade. Of course, it's been a great short, but I'll go back to the well, like I said, one more time. If we can hold above 185, I think that's going to be a bullish sign for the rest of the day on Beyond Meat. Otherwise, I will take a look here. What would be the top of this little consolidation range? 183, it's down around VWAP, made a nice bottom at 181 on our short. Talked about how there was some buying down at that price. So I will jump and round into a bit of a long if we get a bounce off of 183 in VWAP and flip directions in Beyond Meat. Great short. But that time is, it's a half an hour, guys. That's a lot of time in this open. I'm going to flip to the long if we can get a support at 183 on Beyond Meat.
All right, guys, Apple to the upside there. We just took out 70 more cents. So long, out. Now we hold back 1/3 of that trade. So crushed it to the short side. We just tweeted it out. Follow us on Twitter. You can watch these charts. You can see what we're doing. There it is. There's the long and there's the out. Boom, boom. Oh, yeah. Twilio, how you like them apples right now? Out 2/3 right there. In here, out. Nice little $1.20 win for Twilio. So the hot dogs are being thrown out here today. A nice little win there, Twilio. Take that $1 on 2/3 of the position. Now we hold back 1/3, and we're only going to give this one. I mean, look, if we make $1, we can give it back to about losing $1 on the other one just to make sure that there's still profits in our pocket. That may have been extended out about as far as it can go there. NASDAQ does pop, and Twilio pops with it. So there's a nice little $1 win. So money on that one. We're going to go back to the money maker, though. That is Apple right now, man. We've just been crushing it. There's been a 30-cent win on the long. That's this. Then 45 cents on the long right now. And now we're 50 cents in the money. 122.60 right now. 50 cents. 60, 70 cents in the money on Apple, 70 cents in the money. More, one time about 70 cents in the money. $1 in the money on Twilio right now. So 2 for 2. The only real mistake here, I think, really was AMD. I identified that it should have been up there. It was down on the day. We just did not have a good price. We took it through VWAP. When it came smoking back down, that was a red flag for me. We get out. I can't predict these kind of moves straight up. Like this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 straight minute candles straight to the upside, and we were about 4 minutes too early. So hopefully you're able to find that. Look, I just saw that. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, man. We need more likes and more subscriptions, guys. We're trying to get to 100,000. Hit the like button. It's free. That little, what is it, a thumbs up? Hit that. Let's go, guys.
Yeah, you know, you guys will probably usually see me short something like an MDGS. You get that gap up, the little fade trade. But I mentioned off the bat that this one felt a little bit strong. It still feels a little bit strong to me. So I'm going to look for that top end break, of course, but there's some consolidation above that 3 every time it pops to the downside here. I would watch out. You've seen these things flush quickly, heavily. Thank you for getting us to that 1,000 likes. I don't know about that graphic. The 2K one is much better. That's why you hear us talk about it all the time. $3 is a big mark here for that MDGS. If it holds above, I think we test that 370 high. I'm going long through that 370 break. If we get it, 525, the ultimate target, but 425, a reasonable one below that. So watch out for those 2 price levels. First things first, let's see if we can't hold 3 even. I will dip into a long trade. You don't see it very often, but I'll give it about to that 3 even mark and then a hard stop there on MDGS into hopefully that high of day.
All right, MDGS, good play on that one. And also Twilio coming right back to the high side right now. So this goes back to the dollar in the money. Look, Apple's coming back down. There is some size there. We will find out a level to get out of this one. And I've changed my mind, man, 122.50. I'm not going to let this go back to the downside. So we'll get out. Big time trade there. Really happy with that win. So yeah, we, again, don't want to turn winning into losing trades here. So we've already taken out 30 cents. 40 cents and 50 cents, was a 70-cent winner at one point. Now we're going to get out if it does break back down below 122.50, which is happening right now. Did I hear Brendan? Go.
Another SPAC, guys. Another day, another SPAC to have a look at. Advent Technologies combining with AMCI Acquisition Corporation. This is a fuel cell company. I just looked at the chart, though. There's absolutely nothing happening with this, but I saw a couple people wondering about AMCI, guys. They announced today they're joining forces with Advent Technologies.
There's always another SPAC. It just feels like, you can never have too many of them, it does seem. Just to go over this MDGS trade, like I said, I'll take a break at 370. So if I'm going to be long in front of that 3 even, I'd like to be able to work in some shares, maybe down at 310 as well. But I started here at 3.25. If I can get some shares out in front of 50, I'll do that. If I get them in front of this high at 360, I will also do that. And then, of course, in front of the high, the pre-market high at 370. I like that breakout trade, but I will certainly be scalping this trade if I get any kind of a bounce to the upside in front of that $3 mark. So that's going to be the plan on MDGS. Just to go back over to Beyond Meat for a brief second here. You are seeing it hold this top. So as much as I would have liked a bit of a dip buy at 183, in the back pocket might be this retracement back up through 185.50. There was this wick up, and it did break here and then go like almost $1 through, but snapped right back. I think the break could still be in play, but call it 185.50 or so. That was the pre-market level on Beyond Meat. So I'd love to get the dip at 183, but if the only trade in town is a 185.50 break, I might have to take that as well.
Okay, Twilio right now, hells to the yeah. A lot of money coming through on this stock. Yesterday was an $11 winner. I'll see if we can get it right now, but we're breaking through 338. Look where we're long, 336.37. Twilio making moves to the high side, man. 340. I mean, this is $1.50 now. Like, you want winners. The $1.50 in the money right now. Apple, 40 cents back into the money. We've already given you that out down here, 122.40. So we'll wait on that. If it comes back up to VWAP, I'm still expecting it to break this. I mean, the Apple event is going to be happening at noon. We've already crushed it. Apple, by far, my #1 stock so far today, and it just keeps on ticking up for me. So good trade here on Apple. We actually, obviously, we made more on the short. This was at most a $4 winner there, but we did also make back some on this long. So there's that trade. And look at Twilio, guys. We're long at 336.40 right here. So a big move to the upside. It stalls a little bit. Let's put an order at 339 and see if we're lucky enough to take yet again another multiple dollar winner on something. Oh, by the way, it's also Prime Day today. If you didn't know, lift that rock up and come out and see what's going on in the world. Amazon, 3,004. Like, we saw the move yesterday. I talked about this yesterday with Arun. Look at this move, do straight up. And then it was like, oh yeah, we've already been here. We already know it's Prime Day. All the way back down again, right to VWAP. So today, kind of one of those things again. Let's wait to see what kind of numbers come from Prime Day. I don't think they'll beat anything, but we'll see on Amazon. Still up that 0.3%. And yeah, I felt foolish buying this thing at 1,000. But I guess right now we're doing pretty good. Okay, Twilio, Neil, just quickly, we are above 339. I went over to Amazon and didn't even have a chance to put the order out. So now Twilio 340, making all-time highs right now. And your boys got this one. Hey guys, that's two $4 winners for you. Different stocks, same money. Let's go.
Also remember, guys, Disney making its shift is going to be important to some names, like an AMC down 7%. I'll be looking to short this one. If we can't get a bounce on Disney, why not see if we can short an AMC off of a $4 even area? Looks good to me. But what also looks good is some upgrades and downgrades, and I just mentioned one of those names. But let's go over to Brendan at the big screen.
Hey guys, yeah, let's get a few more symbols to have a look at so far today. The big one at the top there, a couple of upgrades and price target increases on Apple once again today. Yeah, Disney mentioned, Marriott and ExxonMobil on this side. On the downgrade side, American Airlines, the biggest move so far. Decent opportunity off the open there. Beyond Meat, we talked about Illumina and Nikola, NKLA. Very strong, though. It did gap down. I'll show you in a second, but very strong so far. Here's Disney. Yeah, they announced the switch over in the media and entertainment unit to focus solely on streaming aftermarket yesterday. Trying to hold this 129.5, 128 area so far for Disney. A big move down initially, but we're trying to get back to the upside. Here's Nikola. Yeah, big move yesterday, first of all, and then, as I said, gapped further to the downside this morning, but very strong so far. Trying to push day highs for Nikola, guys. Back to the upside.
Thank you, Brendan. Just talked about AMC there, but I want to go back to ears. I mentioned the reload. I would have loved the 125. We did miss that little bounce back, but again, I'm going to be shorting this one as long as it gives me a chance. I think at some point it should be a penny stock again, but I got some at 115 here and then took them out 106, 105, and I'll continue to do that as long as it wants to hold this little bottom. I'll be shorting every single pop. If it's above 125, maybe there's a squeeze on. I can't think of any good reason why would it sustain a move to the upside and a squeeze. But you never know when you should always be prepared. Back over to Fastly, we didn't mention this. I like the break only through the actual high of the day, but it's looking like it's trying to hold this bottom. And it's worth noting the NASDAQ, let's see if I can go to the futures here for you guys. The NASDAQ approaching this 1,200 to 1,240 even area. If the NASDAQ bounces off here, Fastly could be a nice little long into that high is what I'm trying to get at. But if we break below this like 12,020 level, I won't be looking at any longs on Fastly. The short, I think you already missed it if you didn't have it off the top. But if we bounce here, I like Fastly for a bit of a long off VWAP.
Like, has there ever really been an easier short, I guess, than that ears? I mean, I cannot believe that I didn't take into that one. I didn't even really read about that stock. So, I mean, the wrong stock, wow. Ears, yeah, good trade, Neil and Brendan. That's a fantastic one.
It's like that pink sheet company that had like the same type of ticker one day as like Tesla and then
or something.
Yeah, it was just
I cannot believe that. Honestly, whatever. That was a missed opportunity for me. You guys have it, so good there. It's been Apple, AMD, Disney, Donkey Kong for me today. Although DraftKings were not in yet, it does make that run to that 540, but it does not break. I mean, this is right where we're waiting. I was about to hit the siren for a new position alert, but it turns around right at our spot. So we definitely had a good look there on DraftKings. Remember, that was a mistake. So in and out there for flat. But right now, it's trying to bounce off that bottom of 49.70. So I think we'll take another little shot here. The market does fall. We might have missed it. 49.70, we'll put a bid there. If it breaks down below 50, then we'll take it out. But darn it, missed that opportunity. I just want to give you guys an update that it came very, very close to breaking that 50.40, which makes me think that that's even a better spot than I thought. So 50.40 on that one. Plus, we'll put some bids in here to get long, see if we can't protect that. But look, DraftKings will fall with the market. We've already seen that. I mean, the market falls here. I mean, big fall. The market just went down about, I don't know, 20 or so handles there on the NASDAQ, and so did this. So we're going to try to pick up some DraftKings on the low side instead of trying to bust it through. Apple, I'm debating just getting out, man. It's having some hard times with this VWAP, 123.20. We're still in it. It's 14 pennies in the money. Twilio still $2 in the money on the high side. We'll try to get out ahead of 340, Brendan.
A little oil and gas name to mention, guys. PED, if you're wondering, they initiated an option to buy the remaining shares, outstanding shares of Sandridge Permian Trust today. That was the news on this PED. So big move up initially in the pre-market on that, but we're all the way back down. Another one that gave you all kinds of fade opportunities here. $3, $2.50. We're down to $2 now for PED, guys.
Yeah, I mean, every time you say PED, I have to make a bad baseball pun. So fade that stock like you fade the Houston Cheaters, who are down right now. And I'm happy about that because it is what it is. And I'll cheer for any team but them in the baseball playoffs. I mentioned 100 on JP Morgan, but it's this bottom here, 101.35 that's being tested again. If I think there's at least a chance that we could dip down for a buy, I'll take a quick scalp trade. If we take out this low, maybe run it into the 101 for a scalp trade, and then if it breaks lower than that, take the rest off. I am looking to be a buyer if we see 100 even on JP Morgan, but if there's going to be a sell break, I'll take a shot there. I don't love a breakout long here at 102.50, but it does feel like it is setting up for one. But there's the first trade I'll put on JP Morgan. It'll be this little, what was a double bottom, 101.35. I just got 33s to the south side. Take this short into hopefully a 101 break. But I still, and you see my order down here to go long. I want to have one just in case it ticks down, and then I can get that trade without having to worry about watching the stock at that time. I want to be long in front of 100. I have a stop on the south side of it, giving it like 15, 20 cents or so. But I missed that the first time last week in JP Morgan. Let's see if we can't get it again at 100.
Yeah, exactly. And I hope that you guys took some advice there on that JP Morgan trade where we told you, to fade that move to the high side today. So that would be a good trade, and I hope you did that. If you're looking at JP Morgan, another bank that reports later on this week, if you're not feeling the banks, Wells Fargo right now at the bottom as well. I mean, all banks basically look like this right now. So you can hit this JP Morgan and Wells Fargo out of the downside, which I think I'm going to do right now. A small little position there to start with on Wells. It can go back to the upside here, 37, 38, but banks destruction today possibly here. Wells Fargo will go short and then wait for a 25 break. The one thing we haven't looked at, and I say what's up to Daryl now, CCL. We haven't looked at that in a bit. CCL now right at VWAP. That's why we kind of like it. Trying to take, or not like it, but looking at it, trying to take this out 1450. I like that play. So if it takes out 1450 to the high side, that's kind of this little spot there. It's above VWAP. It should be all clear on CCL 1450, and it's approaching that level. What's up, Beep?
We were talking about this one last week, guys. Maybe the move of the week last week was just double checking on Jinko Solar. Took a bit of a pause yesterday. Didn't really do too much, but here we go again. JKS 7% again today. Just about to take out the high there. $64 once again for Jinko Solar.
That's a fun name. And a couple of bottom picks here. I talked about DGS being strong above 3 even. There was a couple of bounces to the high. I took a long in front of it. We'll take a 20-cent hit on that. But I might be trying another one here. And Workhorse, there were 2 levels we're watching. It's going to be this 25, and then off of this 23.50 to 24 range. And that's where we're currently bouncing now. This was stronger support. You go back into last week, there was lots of consolidation down here. So starting to slow down in terms of volatility to that downside on Workhorse. Obviously, Brendan came through with a potential delay on one of their updates, but it's going to be a 23.50. If we get down below 24, look to pick it up in front of 23.50. It'll be the second shot for me on Workhorse. Bottom picking. JP Morgan does continue to fall down, but it's never really gone more than like 10, 15 pennies in the money. I might take some off in front of 101, given what I am seeing here. But for now, I think we're going to be all good on that name. Just to jump back over to Fastly, just give you a bit of an update. The market is bouncing just a little bit off some of those levels that we mentioned. And of course, I know Arun went over them as well. Fastly, however, broke down through VWAP. So I'm still going to like this one if we can hold these levels, but I would much prefer moving my stop just a little bit. Instead of taking it off of like a 133, which is what would have been the plan earlier, now I have to start thinking about like a 132 level if it can hold it. The relative strength that I saw is diminished just a little bit by the fact that the market has bounced, and Fastly has managed to get back above its first dip buy price at 133.50. So a bit of a kink in the armor right now on the Fastly bounce to the upside.
I'll ask. Someone's asking Brendan about MITT. So, George, you can, I'll give that shout out to Brendan in case you didn't see it. MITT, I don't know. Okay, here's Apple. It's breaking above VWAP. Hey, guys, Bang, another 70-cent win right now for Apple on board. We'll see. I'm not taking it out, but it's here. You can if you want. 123.50, a good spot right there. It's bounced off there a couple times, but we have this long, man. 75 cents in the money on this name right now. $2 right now only. Was $2 in the money. $1 in the money right now back for Twilio. Look at this. Not a great little action side back to the downside. So we're going to get out if it does break through this VWAP level of 336. So we'll take, again, 2/3 out for $1.20. We'll take the last third out for a 40-cent hit if that does go. Otherwise, we're waiting up here at 339. Our WFC position is short at 22, and it's coming to the downside. I do have a bid at 16, so we'll see if we can hit that. But right now, 80 cents in the money on Apple. $2 now in the money on Twilio. And a flat trade for WFC. So been pretty good so far. And oh yeah, I just saw Cristiano Ronaldo test positive for COVID. So yeah, I guess one of the most fit people in the world. Let's see how he recovers. What is he going to recover like in 2 hours? Cristiano Ronaldo right now diagnosed. We're just joking about it. Obviously, COVID's very serious. I still can't believe the president walks out of the hospital in like 2 days, but that's great. Congratulations to that. I really hope we can get this fixed, but it just came across Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't think that has anything to do with...
He's a bit of a robot, that guy.
I mean, I don't think it's going to affect his physical well-being, but we'll see. I hope it doesn't anyways. We'll just check back on the DraftKings. Obviously, I'm not even sure. He was trying to get a transfer. We'll see what club he winds up on, but I think he's still Juventus. So $50.42 right now. Obviously not going to affect any soccer, but I am still looking for that long on DraftKings. If it breaks, we're going long. You know that. I do have some orders downside, both sub 50. So we'll see. If it doesn't go, though, look at this wick. This is a good indicator, man. I think $50.20. I am putting on shares, so I'm only going to give this one 20 or 30 cents worth of room. But there goes Apple, man. High side right now. Not a bad spot to think about getting out. Oh, man. Brendan is busy today. Like, this is super busy for Brendan, guys. He's over at the big screen with Small Cap Recap. Tell us about him, Brendan.
Hey guys, yeah, a number of them to look at so far this morning. We'll start with this little tiny SOS, 9.8% still. If you go out to the daily time frame here, this 260, 265 area, very, very obvious. If you go back to the beginning of August, was a bit of a resistance point. So we actually opened the day above that, but quickly got back below. And held that 265. So pretty easy trade there versus 265 above that. $3 was really the only other level to the upside for this one. Ended up stalling at around 220. So there was someone just taking all kinds of shares down there at 220. Anything that was sold was just bought right up. And you can see the nice pop back to the upside to 250. So SOS, a nice little fade opportunity initially there. MDGS, yeah, we still don't have locates, sadly, but it tested this 350 area up here a couple of times and has already come off more than 50 cents, 60 cents. If we get below 290, watch 290. If we get below that, maybe get a retest of that 290. Still like that one to the downside. Very hard to find locates on that MDGS, though. Ears, yeah. I mean, I had to read that story 2 or 3 times just to fully kind of understand it. But yeah, there was a Bloomberg report that mentioned another company with the same name, but it was health versus medical. So this is Auris Medical. They were supposed to be talking about Auris Health. They mentioned medical. So this thing popped on that story, but it had nothing to do with them. So yeah, right back to basically where we were yesterday, or on its way to where we were yesterday. Guys, back over to you.
I will be very, very shocked if that stock does not see yesterday's prices. That just seems a little crazy to me that it would not. I talked about JP Morgan here. There was that little double bottom break at 101.35. I did scalp some off in front of one even. Seems reckless not to. Obviously, you're seeing it come off a couple of dollars already. Still love to pick it up at $1, but first it has to get there on a one even break. I will definitely be out well in front of any 100 even prices. I'd like to get long starting at that quarters. I already have an order locked and loaded, so call it like 150 or so. If we get consolidation at that price or in that range, I will take this one off in JP Morgan. Already taking some profit, like I did mention there. JKS, Jingo, whatever. This stock, once again, continues to go a little bit and kind of parabolic, whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to be touching this long break here. Jinko obviously has made a move already. I think if you caught it at like $60, that's great. If you caught a bit of a long off that 63.50 break to the upside, fantastic. Brendan just mentioned it to you. It's going to be looking for some shorts and possible halts to the upside for me on Jinko. Maybe if it comes down to like 60, like I said, that could be a bit of a price that you might be able to work off of. But when it's already made this kind of a move, I think you're sort of all bets are off for me. Chasing anything that far into a long, I think, is a little bit crazy. Not to get too far away from Beyond Meat, but one of the things that we mention here is even if your last trade's losing trade, if you got a stock that you got a good read on, and of course Beyond Meat's probably going to be, I mean, it is what it is. It's going to be a great one, but Beyond Meat probably the best stock for me today in terms of actual structure of a trade and the read on some of these shorts. But it is having a lot of trouble holding this little breakout here towards that upside. I did like a dip by at 183. Now, obviously, you can see it never got back that far. It's now going to be an opportunity, possibly, and then again, testing this sort of pre-market high here at 187. I think if it can't get through here, there might be another short for us. So that's what I'm looking at currently. 186.80 is going to be the current pre-market high, but I call it 187. If it turns and cannot break through, looking for a short at on Beyond Meat in front of that price.
Yes, sir. It's backflip time. DraftKings blowing up to the upside right now. We do have that long and taking a little bit of that out for sure. Look at WFC also. We did take that out. We have 3 winners. I mean, these are big winners right now. So DraftKings, we're going to see what happens. 20 cents in the money. DraftKings. Apple. Boom. That's a bang right now. $1.20 in the money on Apple. 30 cents in on DraftKings. Twilio, $3 in the money on Twilio right now. That's a big trade. And 11 cents on the short on WFC. What can we do wrong around here? Not sure. We just keep on making moves. We making money moves today, guys. Just like we were yesterday. Money coming through. And it doesn't stop. Arun beside me, Neil beside me. It doesn't matter. Let's just keep on putting these winners through, guys. Hopefully you have this with us. $1.20 on the long side of Apple. $4 on the short side of Apple. DraftKings continues to blow up. Yesterday, Twilio, $11 winner on Twilio. Now, $3 winner on Twilio. It does go as high as $3.40. We're going to get out if that does that again. We're not going to count our chickens here on Twilio, but it's been a big trade for us. And then WFC, nice little win. We just talked about that. We'll sit here at 11 and see if we can't get out. And again, remember, we have direct market access. So there it is. We get out at 11 and get the rebates. It is just all cash money over here, guys. Apple dollars. Donkey Kong ripping to the moon now, Donkey Kong. Going upside, $50.77. You want winners, guys. Here we go. We are falling down on cash today. I hear that it's Brendan. We're reviewing our trades. What's up, Brendan?
Another one from the watch list to review, guys. Ford, just notice Ford just went negative here. So back to break even. The reason I mentioned this is we came all the way back in from this gap up to where it ended the day yesterday, right at yesterday's close right now, Ford. So if it's going to find a little bit of support, could be a good spot, guys.
All right, we're getting out of Apple.
The name that was right next to it on that watch list, of course, is going to be Workhorse in the same space. Bounce off of 24, we mentioned at one time that was going to be the second level we would look at to see support. It's now bounced above it, so going to jump into the long in front of the low of the day here, and that low is a 23.90. Not going to use 24 as a round number, but Workhorse, first time didn't work, but it was a tighter stop here. Wasn't willing to risk as much off the 25 level, but I do like this one a little better, and we talked about that Ford dip buy opportunity, and the market is trying to bounce back to the upside. Hopefully not too strong because we're still in the money on that JP Morgan, about 50 pennies or so. I'm not going to have a $2 winner on JP Morgan because I am going to be long in front of 100. So I'm reversing at some point, but I'm looking at a 150 area target for this short on JP Morgan.
Yeah, man, and we're just cashing out on our WFC short as well. Bang, bang, bang. All to the upside. Oh. We did cash out on Apple. How you like them apples, Apple? A nice little move to the high side there, catching out $1.30 on our last out of Apple there. So in, out, out. You can see in there, out. So nice trades. That's not an in, that's an out on our first little move downside. That's the only in. We should have got more down here, man. We got in here, protecting this bottom, does not hit, and then we able to enjoy some upside moves. Okay, DraftKings, What else can I say about DraftKings here, guys? Again, this is the one thing. You've asked on email, and I will deliver. And by email, I mean Twitter. Almost 8,000 subs now I have, followers for Twitter. Look, you guys asked. You wanted to know. Look, sometimes you see we have 6, 7, 8 positions on. I'm trying to lower those positions and tell you the trades that I'm all about and which ones I'm putting risk on, right? We did this yesterday as well with Arun. And here it is, man. I told you we were waiting for this DraftKings at 50-40 and that we would do this. Hide your wife, hide your kids. Superman's in the building. This is a 50-cent win right here on DraftKings. And I actually said we'd take this for about 50 cents. So right now we come back into this side right now, start getting them out. We only have 20% left right now of our DraftKings. So we're doing a little bit better holding on here, guys. So that's a good one. Twilio WFC. 12 cents in the money, we'll take that. And then Twilio, man, still $3 in the money, $2.50. We are trying to get it upside. Hit the like, hit the subscribe as much as you guys can. Man, we're having fun. And like I said, just come back every day. It's going to be one of us here, and we're going to be killing it, hopefully, for you live on the show. I'm just sad I missed that ears trade.
Yeah, that ears trade, it's still ongoing here. You are still seeing it slide to the downside. Like I said, if it's unless there's something crazy happening in ears, it's probably going to head down to like $1 or so, or even below that price, guys. It's got to be that level on ears that you got to watch out for. 85 cents, of course, previous close. But I do believe we have Brendan once again. What's up, buddy?
A little bit thinly traded on this one, guys, but worth a look. Fathom Holdings, FTHM, up 18% today. It's one of those little technology-based discount real estate brokers. They're talking about some restructuring, hired some new executives, and talking about their plan for the future. So FTHM, big move to the upside so far. Again, a little bit thinly traded, low volume. Valeria is watching what is going on over in Europe. About an hour left in the session over in Europe. V, take it away.
Hey Brandon, European shares retreated from 5-week highs. In terms of individual stocks, Airbus fell more than 3% after JP Morgan cut its rating from neutral to underweight. Back to you.
Yeah, we're seeing movement in all of the travel names. Just notice some of the hotels even to the upside today, guys.
Okay, sorry, I was just reading the chat there. Okay, WFC right here to the downside keeps on going, right? So we're going to wait to see here. We did get some out. Actually, retracing, going the other way. What was coming back down, wrong stock, was DraftKings. So DraftKings there, we did get out. We talked about looking for 50 cents. It actually goes 45 cents. It goes all the way to the upside, and then bang, that one. So that's a good little trade there to the upside on DraftKings. I'm going to put another order somewhere around there, $50.85, just to see what does happen. But we'll wait on that one. DraftKings making moves to the upside right here. I don't know. I think it might have got a little sour there at the top. We did take it for 50 cents. Look, we're still in the money right now, pretty big. And our Twilio, do I take this out? I'm sitting right here at 4,000. 340. Here it comes. Right now, we're going to take $3.80 or so on this. That's me sitting right here. Let's see if we can get it. That's our NASDAQ. Let's see if we get filled up right now. Actually, you know what? You don't want to film me. I'm going to cancel. We pull our order right now. See if we go above 340. Here we go, guys. Twilio, $4 winner right now. Let's go.
So you're going to see this on Workhorse, guys. I basically keystroked into a ton of shares. I won't say how many, but let's just say a mother load of long in Workhorse. I'm going to immediately take it off. Again, I wanted to be building a position off 24, but definitely too many to be holding through that low day, especially if it's going to be counter trend. It does happen to you. Sometimes you'll work out of the position. Other times, if you're against the trend, if you don't have it with you, it is just better to immediately get out of it. So it's going to take a hit on Workhorse here. I still think there's going to be a bit of a long opportunity if it can hold 24, but for at least now, it looks like it's continuing to head southbound. Even though the market is in a bit of a range on the NASDAQ, guys, we're still seeing it hold this level. It was a nice little bounce off 1200. I mean, Twilio wasn't necessarily as strong as I would have expected it off of this little bounce, but the market trying to get back to the north side, and we're still slightly negative on the day on both the ES and the NASDAQ, but it does look like it was an attempt to be made to the positive side here. Brendan, what do you have?
More strength, guys, in the cannabis group. We talked about it the past couple of days. Here we go again. Afria just popping up to the upside. Just broke that pre-market high on volume, so still negative. We did gap down in this group today, but trying to work higher once again for the cannabis stocks, guys.
Ooh, cannabis stocks. Okay, where's Weed Batman? That's one of my favorite things. This is one of the very first animations that we ever did. The show's actually years old. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but we were broadcasting only to our Day Trade the World offices, and then we noticed how much love we got from that little project, and then now we're bringing it to you. So Weed Batman is one of the early ones that we've ever had on this one. Look, this failed at 340 again. Okay, here comes back. Okay, Twilio, I was just going to say, maybe we get out, but this is a $5 win right now for us on Twilio. Sorry, $4 win. We're long at 336 and change. Follow us, like I said, all on Twitter. Me, Neil, and Brendan on Twitter. Valeria's not on Twitter, but at tradertv.live can handle that one. Upside right now on Twilio. We're still going, man, and we're going hard on this one. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day. Yesterday we ran Twilio. Today we're doing the exact same thing. Let's just get it off right here, 340 and change. We'll take, I don't want to take Twilio out. Maybe we won't. I have a problem, as you guys know. I never ever get like the ultimate best out. So I don't know. I'm just feeling like Twilio still has room to run, but that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So let's get it out now, and I won't feel bad. That's 5 double tops, and by double tops, I mean quadruple tops. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I get out, it'll be a 5th. So I'm pretty happy taking Twilio out right now for a $4 winner, guys.
I saw a question in the chat. Someone was asking, are we going in long into JPM? Look, I sort of talked about the 100 level. I did take this break short to the downside, 101.35. Scalps them out in front of 101. It broke 101 down, then bounced off 180. Because I think it's a bit of a bottom pick, I'm now all flat on it. It did break back above 100. 101. I don't necessarily love it already here. The 100 price was my target. It was a fantastic long on the way down last time. It gave you almost an instant $2.50 retracement. This is a trade that we talked about that day. It came in. It was almost too fast. That's why I liked it if it dipped down again today. But this level here is not a horrible one at 180. I just prefer the better bottom pick. And the market is still sliding down here. So the trend is downside. If you have a level, if you're long off 102 or 101.50, you're just giving it more room. And if your stop is down at $100, you're going to risk $1. Do you think there's $1 of upside in JP Morgan, $1.50? I don't think necessarily that's going to be your target to the upside. I think it's a little bit wishful thinking. You want to price a little bit closer to 100 on a day trade at least. If you're swinging, maybe you're giving it some more room there. I guess that can be excused working into a position on JP Morgan. But for me, I'll be waiting for that 100 mark, guys.
And I can't show. Yeah, I was just talking about this. We did have some people yesterday on my Twitter. I can't show it. You can go over there. But they were asking about how to pick up some merchandise. So we do have that available as well, merchandise. If you head to my Twitter, you'll see what we're talking about there. We did get some questions about that over there. So if you want to find merchandise, maybe Valeria can drop the link if you still have that. But it is on our YouTube page, the merchandise, if you did want that. Arun was wearing the sweater yesterday. We have mugs that, there, see if I hold this way, there you are. We do have mugs as well to go, but thank you, Mr. Wheelie Man, for the reminder on the water, Brendan.
Positive one to look at today as well, guys. Foot Locker, just noticed 2.3%. That's come off from pre-market highs, but we did gap up significantly here for Foot Locker. We're right back to this kind of area on the daily chart, 38.50, 38.40. So it's trying to bounce here off of that. Bank of America with a quite a lengthy positive note on Foot Locker today, guys.
Watch out for that Jinko and whatever. I'm gonna mess up that name like 1,000 times. But Jinko, James, $65 does look like it's going to round into a bit of a resistance point here. It's a bit overbought. If you're going to talk about this $7 move to the upside, it's not the first move that it's made. Continuing its run, which has been absolutely parabolic, but it did get through this level here. 63.50 is going to be both yesterday and last week's high price. If it gets below there, I think that's where you're targeting a short off of like a 65 area. So much room to come back in, guys. It's definitely worth a look here in Jinko. JP Morgan, it is coming back down to 101, guys. I still think it's going to be 100. If it bounces here, fair enough. Maybe you missed the party. It is what it is. You have a level. You got to sort of stick to it on that name. A bit of a move here well, not a bit of a move. Ears can't really get out of its own way. And I think it is going to still head to that downside. But a bit of a move to the upside up to like 120. I think fading off of either 125 or 145 on any pop to the upside. Those are both of your levels. I think you're shorting both of them. I think you're shorting $1 if it gets there to the downside. The tick increment will change at that point. It's an adjustment to your active trading at least, but no change whatsoever in this name. It's a sell until it gets to yesterday's close price. Or If it can squeeze, I guess maybe that's like a 150. I just can't see any way there's any kind of a squeeze to the upside, given what the news is. Who would have the conviction buying ears today? I can't imagine there's anybody.
All right. Sorry, just sending a message to El Producer here. Okay. WFC making moves. That's the only stock I have on right now is WFC. We did get out of Twilio. Okay. So Twilio does come out. So there it is, guys. In there, 336.40, out for the $1.20, and then out for, let me check exactly how much that was, $3.70. So today, guys, $3 winner on Apple, almost a $4 winner on Twilio with another $1.20. So you add that up, we're over $5 on Twilio today. DraftKings making moves again. It does come back down to where we got in. VWAP would have been a great spot to reload that position, but we didn't. Now it's coming to the upside. I think this is a good opportunity right now to get out of some of the DraftKings. So, I mean, look, we're celebrating everything, man. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day. It's a fantastic day. The only real misstep, honestly, that I feel that I have is right here, and that is with AMD. And this is the problem. We really liked it. I saw NASDAQ coming back from the dead, and it did. And then this little level here, you know, we overtook this, which is why we went long, ran it into VWAP, went long past VWAP again. But look where it stalled. It stalled out basically at this pre-market high level, which is right here. So that was the problem. Should have noticed that and got out, but instead we let it go through VWAP, break back to the downside, get out just before this little level, and I'll put lines there. We save ourselves 20 or 30 pennies, but then look, the second time's a charm, as it looks like on AMD, breaks back above VWAP, and then now at day's high. So AMD definitely a missed opportunity there. And then the other loser that we had right off the open was Disney. So we were trying to get the longs. We're able to make a little bit of money back here, but then we tried once to get on the short, got out once it does break this day low. And I know Brandon and Neil, we talk about these levels breaking here in the pre-market. Instead of getting out, that was a great opportunity to go short. I know Neil did something like that on JP Morgan as well. So sometimes when these stocks have news, you got to play the ranges and these breaks. And it's just, you get caught up in your ideas and sometimes they do fall down. But hey, Disney, it's nice to see you back upside now, turning my trade into a winner if I still had it, but I do not. So here we go, Disney. Let's see if we can't find another spot to get in right now on this stock. I'm looking at right somewhere around here, 130.18. That's right where we're at now. I'm going to do a little more work on Disney. I don't want to punch this high after a run like this, but wow, we're still going upside. Look at WFC about to break that 25. So I got to thank Neil for that one. He did talk about JP Morgan short side. I just went to a way worse bank that I think anyways, WFC, the money center. So we'll see on that one. They're burning more cash than Aurora Cannabis right now. So we're going to wait to the downside, and that's a lot of cash, $3.3 billion. We'll wait on WFC earnings this week, guys. BlackBerry, Neil, up 10%.
Yeah, BlackBerry up 10%, but Brendan up at the big screen. Time for Sector Watch. Let's go to him.
Yeah, working with ServiceNow, guys. BlackBerry having quite the day. I just noticed as well, another day high for BlackBerry. Let's have a look at the overall market here. 0.4% to the downside for the S&P. Mostly in the middle here, you're going to find real estate stocks in negative territory. And I mean the entire group in negative territory, led by VNO, SLG, and BXP, 3+% each. Energy stocks weak as well. We did note that crude was kind of coming off the highs, but still a little bit higher on the day. But this entire group mostly in negative territory. There's a few here back to positive, but a little bit of negativity from that end. And then you got financials and consumer discretionary stocks leading the way outside of the diversified group, basically everything to the downside today. We talked about a few of these, but LNC, MET, and PRU from the insurance group. There's Citigroup, 4%. Yep, reported earnings that weren't good. Speaking of WFC, 2.6% to the downside. USB and KeyBank there as well. They also have earnings coming up very shortly. Cruise lines down here, consumer discretionary. Look at RCL, 10%. RCL is SSR, guys, 10.3%, in fact, to the downside. They were talking about more cancellations coming up, a couple of downgrades on this group as well. But Norwegian, CCL, Wynn, Marriott, some of the hotels to the downside as well. But Norwegian and CCL also following suit there. The durable goods group also very, very negative on the day. I got to come over to tech shares to find some positivity, led by Micron, AMD, and KLAC. Everything else kind of mixed. PayCE higher. We have WU and IBM both down almost 2% on the day. So overall, bit of a mixed story as far as the board is concerned. 0.5% here for the S&P to the downside now, guys. Back over to you.
Sean a minute ago was talking, well, a couple minutes ago, was talking about levels, and sometimes you got to revisit them. Beyond Meat, which, one of the top names on our watch list and was probably the best short off the open for me, certainly 3 times we're taking this one, the 4th time, not necessarily a charm, but you get this bounce back up, and once it turned positive, it does break the pre-market high, if not just very, very briefly. But you look at where it pulls back to, and it's right at that pre-market 184 break, right around where we were shorting it before, and that's where it turns. So sometimes you look at those levels, if there's some broken support, if it holds a second time, maybe there's a bit of a long off of it. That's exactly what happened here. So probably going to add that one to the radar because it looked like you had a chance to get long off that 185. Give it to that 184, and then it came all the way up towards that top. So that's a setup that I'm going to have to favor here, and that's where your bias can kick in. It was an original short bias on Beyond Meat. Of course, we talked about this one all morning long, but flipping certainly was the way to go. I was waiting for a dip at 183. But when I look back at it, certainly this 184, which is the new level to watch on Beyond Meat, was probably the way to go. It is what it is. Sometimes you look at that VWAP down here, the only thing on my chart, and it gets in the way of what would have been a better level at 184 for a dip buy, which could come into play any minute now as it's breaking 185 downside.
Okay. Hold on a second. Yeah, just typed it in there. Okay. Right now, yeah, we're looking at some cannabis names. This is what just cracked, man. WFC just cracked to the downside. So a nice little trade there. We did get our best positions out at 01 or 02. So that is the problem right now for WFC cracking back down through 25. An update on our Donkey Kong position. So DraftKings, look, it does come back up, and I can't make this up. I got to put this over here so you guys can see it. This was that target spot. It bounced up there. We put our order waiting and got hit. So right now we're 10% left on DraftKings, and I'm only going to give this back downside on this break right here. Yeah, you know what? I'll just give it breaking through 50. Whatever. It doesn't matter now. We've taken the winners. This one cannot be negative. It's a big trade for me. Super happy about DraftKings today. So that one worked out well. WFC worked out well. Twilio, yay, that one worked out well. So I don't care if you timber or not right now, Twilio. Look what we talked about. And this, again, is going to be adaptive with your own personal style. Like, for me, how many times? Top again. So I saw it 4 or 5 times before we said, you know what? Let's just get out. If it breaks the high side, you can get back in. So don't like staring, like Neil says, these gift horses in the mouth. I don't think this was necessarily a gift horse. We had to wait for this. But, too many times upside there, not worth the risk. Like when you get a spread, right now it's fine, but these aren't real shares. Like this is a sub 100 lot. So you got to look up here on the level 1. So this is the NBBO up here. So you can see a real spread of less than 100 lots will not show up here. So you have to have a 100 share lot to show up on the level 1. So the real spread right now, at least 30, 40 cents. And then when it opens up, El Trouble comes through. Oh, it looks like my DraftKings, I was not able to get that order out at 50. It comes out earlier, breaking through 50.20. So that's that level that we talked about. I just got to make sure. And this can happen to us, as Neil said all the time. I say it all the time as well. Sometimes we forget, Neil, that we have orders out. And when we do that, we get triggered in. So right there, a good out on DraftKings, 50-15. This time, it actually saved me some money.
Yeah, and Rocket continues to run to the upside like a rocket ship. Bad pun there, which is intended though. 24 is going to be the key price. Always jump to a higher time frame. You get these moves to the upside where it's starting to slow down a little bit. Volume is also starting to taper off on Rocket. So I am looking to see if we haven't yet tested 24. Last time it was up here. You go into last week, it did break before rolling over in and around like 24.20 or so. So I would anticipate maybe you catch a break at 24. I wouldn't be taking that to the long side. I'd be looking to see if it fails back down. I'd be looking at this break. If it breaks upside past 24.30 in a secondary like afternoon move or maybe lunchtime move, which I don't anticipate, that would be the long. But I'm shorting it in front. I think that 24 is going to be your jump off point or jump down point, I guess is the way you want to look at it. I haven't done this today. And we like to have some educational content. At least we hope the show is entertaining and educational as well. But over on our Market Wisdom page, we do drop educational videos every single day. A lot of times you'll hear Sean, Arun, Brendan and I talk a little fast, maybe not so Brendan. But there's lots of trader terms that we will use that for you newbies out there, you might not understand. So we do this from time to time. We drop a video on some of those terms, what they mean, why they are important. So check that one out. Valeri's going to have that link in about an hour or so. And then you can watch it on our Market Wisdom page. For now, let's go to Brendan, who has some news for us.
The Sun Run, guys, very active again today. Lots of volume for RUN. On the NASDAQ, they closed that Vivint solar deal yesterday, so that was finalized yesterday. VVNT, that's done and dusted, so now one company, but Sun Run back to the upside after that move down. You can see volume just coming in here as we broke back above 67 for Run, guys.
All right. Yeah, we're looking around to get some more opportunities for you guys here today. Put them in the chat if there's anything you really want to look at from our side. We will look at DraftKings, man. I mean, again, I'm going to smile on this because this was a trade that I broke down almost perfectly for you. We also gave you guys the out of 50 cents. That's exactly where it went, right to that high side. And just for an explanation, that's sort of where we started tanking off the open, right? And by tanking, I mean 51 down to 49.80 is not necessarily a tank, but that's where this move started. So no surprise, that's where it stops. Sometimes we're good and we actually pick the right level. So that's a good one. I see some news on AstraZeneca here, but again, you know what? Like, I bought this stock. I thought it was New York. It must be NASDAQ. I bought this stock around here. I was going to say 54 and change, maybe 54.20. I'll check the account after. But you know what? I'm actually really disappointed with a lot of these virus names. And the reason why is because when they released this vaccine, they're not going to make money on these things, man. They're not going to make money on a lot of these vaccines. It's going to be quite obvious now. Neil touched on it in the morning when we talked about J&J, is that there's going to be multiple vaccines that are all going to work, and it's the choice of which government supports which one. I see right now AstraZeneca, Mexico, 77 million virals of that case and that dose. So we'll see if that can do anything to the stock. But as you can see, man, look at a lot of these names. We could check Gilead as well. I don't know why this is like this for the daily chart, but I'll have to clear this out. But the point is, look, it's doing nothing, man. This goes back to September 24th. I'll fix this chart in a minute, but you can see here, AstraZeneca is not an IPO. You can see back and forth. It doesn't really move. So I'm not in love with a lot of these virus names. I just think you keep on picking up the best companies, and every time
J&J.
Right. Every time J&J goes down, I keep putting this one in my 401k or RSP or whatever. But J&J today down 2.3%. I'd say buy it.
Yeah, I mean, when we talked about J&J a bit earlier, I was I did do the fade trade, of course. You'll want to fade that news if you can. And I said if it gets back and holds like 150, I think that's going to be a strong bullish sign. But you see multiple failures at that same price. Looking at this bottom here going into earlier on in the month at least, so a couple of weeks ago, you're seeing 146. This is going to be an obvious area of support, but it has to break right now off of this 148 level. Not to say that there's a bit of a bottom pick, but you are starting to see the market level off just a little bit. I stayed away from the J&J long. I did have an accidental fill into the long side, which we immediately took out here for about flat off 150. But I think this 148, maybe it holds. If it does, that can give you maybe a scalp long up to this 149 where I was taking shorts off. From there, I wouldn't actually love this one until it got to 146 for a longer term. So it's like 146, 150 would be the two places I'd like for swings. But I think 148 is perfectly good as a day trade if you like it to that long side. And that's the only because J&J, not a very volatile stock. And speaking of volatile stocks, just going to go back to that loop that Brendan brought to your attention earlier. This one looking like it is going to threaten the bottom. So down 36%, and it might still be falling. If it breaks 7 even, could get pretty ugly on LLOP. But it is short sell restricted, being down over 10%. For now, let's go to Brendan for Money Talks.
My thing is definitely.
Hey guys, yeah, let's go to currency land. We'll see how things are shaping up so far today. Threw the dollar index back up on the chart once again today. Popped to the upside. So we're seeing strength returning to the US dollar today on talk of possible stimulus coming for both PPP and also possibly some stimulus checks as well. So they're going to vote on that apparently coming up tomorrow. So a lot of these in negative territory because the US dollar is showing that strength. So the euro to the downside in a big way, 0.6%. To the downside for the euro, the Canadian dollar 0.25% back to 76, British pound, and Australia and New Zealand You get the point. All in negative territory. Japanese yen, Swiss franc are higher, as we typically see, with a little increase in volatility. These are a bit of a volatility play. And also I wanted to mention crypto is in negative territory, as we saw right off the bat this morning. Still, though, Bitcoin above that 11,200 area. Look at Ethereum, 2.5%, 375 was more of a level going back a week or so. So we're kind of getting back into that range where it might find a little bit of support for Ethereum. But yeah, big time strength today in the US dollar. You can see over there. Let's go over to Sean.
Okay, so I do have some ideas here that I think I like. And one of them is JP Morgan. Yeah, thanks for that update there. Very important that we find out what's happening with Bitcoin. I am on it, guys. We trade GBTC here at Day Trade the World. We do have the opportunity to trade Bitcoin futures on the CME and CBOE, but I've never really done that. So I think it's just a little too illiquid for this show per se. But if you're taking a little bit of a longer term position, I do think that you can use the Bitcoin futures. So I'll get the symbol for that and show that in a minute. This is my idea, and call me crazy. But 101 like my wife does. 101.30 right now on JP Morgan. I feel like we've made a bottom, and I do like to make these plays on stocks that are reporting and actually have news on them. So look, this is kind of forming out to something similar to what we saw yesterday, although I don't really like that it tried to go here, because in my opinion, this is like the same thing. It should have gone right here, 101.25. So I'm going to give this one shot at 101. I don't even have any trades on JP Morgan today. I have a 25-cent win right now on, as you can see on the board on the bottom, of WFC. So here we go, 101. Oops, trying to draw this line for you guys. 101.28 right now. I like that. You do have the bottom down here, 175 cents. So we're in this channel. So look, if you're bearish on the market, which you easily could be, and you think there's a timber action coming, it's also setting up for the same move to the downside. I mean, it's coming down. It resisted this. That's a better short. But if you do like the break, I mean, $100.75 right here, breaking downside is something that could easily happen as well. So I'm going to go long because I did not expect, I expected the short to come through, and we did talk about that. The short I liked was 102.80, breaking yesterday's close, which is right here. So as soon as that happened, choppy, but then it moves down. So I'm going to make the call right now again. We'll put on 1-2 units here of a long position, breaking back above 101.30. And I don't know how much room to give this. I'll analyze it once we're in, but 101.30, I do like it. It all depends on how it gets there. So we'll wait to that. Our out, just in case it happens really fast, my out will probably be right about 101, because again, if we zoom in here, and I'm just breaking this trade down for you because I think this could be a good one. We'll get out if it does hover back around these areas, 101 and change, 101 and 102. So let's put our order in right now for 101.30 and see about this long on Mr. Morgan.
Yeah, and speaking of longs, the longs that didn't work for me, of course, you guys are going to watch Workhorse here, and I talked about it a couple levels here, and I had a plan of action, I think, both off of a 25 consolidation, which was very short-lived on this 50-minute chart, and then a better one off of that 24, but this one slammed me. I actually got into too many shares and got smoked on it. It still hasn't broken the low. You know, and so it's still sort of in play down here. You have this 23.50 bottom from all last week. Yes, it did flush through if you go back to the 8th, but snap right back and then form the same support level a couple of times before. So there's going to be a bounce, and the market continues the bounce to the upside as the NASDAQ just went positive on the day. I mean, the ES still lagging a little bit, but it's bounced off 3,500. Workhorse, let's see if it has a little bit of juice. It has held this level rather nicely. I think there's going to be a long at some point, and 23.50 to 24 is that target area all morning long. I was just a little impatient trying to get into that long trade. I think if you've been waiting for it, this could be the place to look for it in front of that 23.50. You guys were looking at Jinko. I was also looking at Jinko. Look, this stock is still looking relatively strong, and it just broke out through the high of the day at 65. I'm looking for a short trade. I was looking for a break below the 63.50. I showed you guys that in the 15-minute chart. If it gets back below 65, it gives you some sideways action. Maybe the short's going to be in. But chasing it long, yeah, not my flavor of the day here. It's up $8. It's already gone parabolic multiple days in a row here. I'm just looking for a reversal play on Jinko Solar. It does. Sorry. Jinko Solar. JKS, guys, I want to see if it comes back below 65. Other way to get short is a 63.50 break. JP Morgan still does not want to go down to $100 to give that long bounce that I missed last week, and obviously I'm not going to get again today. as you are seeing it bounce just off 75. Check that. That's a new low. It's still 100 even for me, guys. That's the level I like. We'll see if we can get it. No promises on where the stock is going to go, but you saw what happened in Workhorse, trying to get that dip a little bit too early off the level. Got long too far in front of it, and then twice it doesn't work. JP Morgan, as much as the short worked out, I'd like to hunt for that long bounce off 100, and that's my price, so I got to stick to it. Got to try to stay disciplined, guys.
Yep, we're going to wait a little bit more and put on a few shares here if it does break above 101.30, so good call. We did get out there of some WFC. I can't think long JP Morgan and watch WFC profits fade away, so we'll get out of a little bit. Now we're holding that 10% again on WFC, seeing if, I don't even have any bids. We'll see if that can come. I did have one at 98. Cancel that. See if this can come to downside, because we could be wrong on JP Morgan. Remember the one thing I said, though, on JP Morgan? That's WFC again. Hopefully my lines are still there. They're not. But 101.28, and then there's also that bottom. So right now we're kind of stuck in there. I did want to check back on Beyond Meat. Neil had that earlier. Now bouncing back to 185. Look how choppy this is. This is why. Very important. Get our watch list, man. Our Morning Movers watch list is completely free. And look, Beyond Meat has the move on the open. But look what it does since. Not much. Here's Beyond Meat. Where is it? Where is it? It's on here somewhere. I can't find it. There it is on our watch list right there. Beyond Meat. The point is, this is completely free for everybody. Make sure you grab this. Watchlist.tradertv.live. Free watch list. Get it while it's hot. Right now, though, we're looking at Valeria at the big screen in our all black today. So me and Valeria taking it to the black side with the clothing. Let's go. The market, though, is up. This is not a Black Friday, Valeria.
Hey guys, 30 minutes left until European close, and market is in a negative territory on COVID-19 vaccine uncertainty. Spain is down 1.23%, France is down 0.93%, and Britain is down 0.83%. Rolls-Royce is falling down after raising debt. That's all with Europe, and I'll keep you updated. Back to traders.
So we're going to go over that MDGS, and we show the winners, we show the losers here as well. All morning long, you know, usually it's going to be these gaps to the upside, fill in and sell them off in front of some predetermined levels. 370 was the high on MDGS. I mean, obviously, I talked about 425 and 575 if it did break the top. But it was falling, and as it bounced off of $3, I mentioned before the market opened and after as well that MDGS just felt strong. To me, I was going to look for longs until you got an actual break through the high and testing some of those higher levels that I mentioned. I did take the long at 320 a couple of times here, some 24s, some 18s for an average price at about 20. I tried to give it to this 3 even mark. It just showed all kinds of weakness to roll over at that point, and that was going to be my stop area. Could I have given it to 280? Looking at it in retrospect, and everything is all hindsight, it does feel like maybe waiting for the 3 consolidation off of 280 was a better play. I tried catching it in the bit of this upward trend where it was making higher highs. That ends up being, sort of higher lows. That ends up being wrong. But the overall read was pretty good. So I hope somebody did have this to the long side. It didn't break 4 even there. So at this point, it might be a short. I thought 425 would be that next level up, but 394 is where we've turned around here on MDGS. Still showing a bit of strength. 280, I think, is that spot where it's like a kill. If it gets below that at any point today, tomorrow, later on in the week, that's where you start thinking about heavier shorts. 425, I still think, should be the level if 4 does break. From there, 525. But read was good. I did try the long. It did not work out. Hope somebody did have it there, guys.
Okay, we're long Disney again right now. So we're going to go long Disney. We're long at 86. It's at 96. So instantly 10 cents in the money. The reason why it pulls back, right? Disney pulls back right now. I do love Disney, and we are going to see it coming to the upside again. We lose on that. Like, it's amazing. Long, and I'm down. It's like my only negative stock today. Disney as we go downside. But nice little long here. 130.85. We're going to build into it and then get out if it does break. I'm thinking this little spot right here, if it does break down below 130.30, we'll get out. But build into a long, hoping that Disney can't extend its move higher. Brendan?
Clovis Oncology, guys, just spiking up here on decent volume, just breaking through day highs and also to the top end of the range. Didn't get above that 6 yet, but just a heads up on CLVS. Just checking on that, guys.
Okay. Yeah,
I was going to say, I was actually We do our watch list every single day, and one of the things, if you guys are on Twitter and you're looking around here, and I wish I could find it, but if you put in that EARS stock, there were, I want to say, several tweets this morning sort of pumping that stock up and bullish this and buy this stock, it's up, and the same kind of nonsense, right? But it was the wrong company. I think this is one of the things that we aim to do here. If you took nothing out of this trade, whether you had it short or not, just a simple diligence. To be able to jump in without knowing what the news is or without reading carefully. That's how people get trapped. And I know there's probably some bag holders that were buying this off of what was almost a 100% move in the pre-market to that upside. But Brendan mentioned it right off the bat. The correction was on our watch list, and it's still heading down. I think it breaks $1. I think if it breaks $1, that's going to be a good short for you. 84 cents seems like a reasonable target. If it bounces up, I can't see any way it gets squeezed, given that there's no real conviction into any of this buying. But you really do have to watch out. My rule of thumb on Twitter is either find multiple sources that you trust, or simply do your own diligence yourself, which is probably the better way. I know sometimes you have to react to flash news, but in the pre-market, on a small cap stock, half an hour before the open, an hour before the open, no need to do that whatsoever. That's why we talked about this one all morning long, and it's still falling. I can't believe how good a short this actually has been. And as always, as is custom, I am willing to promise you this. As much as I had these rollovers, I bet you Brendan had the first consolidation because that was probably the better trade off this at 155. This was one of the few times where shorting it at almost any price would have made sense, as opposed to just only working it off of some of these pre-market levels, which I kind of still did.
Yeah, exactly. The pre-market, that's one stock that I missed for sure. Like pumping up the wrong stock, like that's unbelievable. 101.28 right now. That's what we're looking at. JP Morgan's creeping right now to 101.28. So that's a level that we're looking at. 101.30, call it even break on that one. Hopefully we'll see what that does. Disney, again, averaged in. Our average price right now is 79. We'll probably build it to about a half a unit of risk. All we're trying to do now is just top up our day. We're at our highest level we've been at all day right now. Only loser on board. Well, we did lose on AMD, and we're working into this Disney, see if we can't make some of that money back. I'm going to average in one more time down near the 50s, and then get out if we break this little level here, 130.20, just kind of the top of the pre-market. I mean, the ultimate top is up here where we got involved. But 130.15, if that does break, we'll get out. But right now, averaging into Disney, I do like that long. We know JP Morgan's coming close. WFC does come close and then fades back down. So we're still in that short, as you can see on the board. Another name I wanted to look at quickly was, wow, thank you right there, Chang, Kevin Chang. We'll find out about that one. I guess that's Thai, I'm not sure. 300 right there, had an eye surgery. First time trade September, miss you guys, great day. Would you guys recommend holding Apple through this event? No. Okay, that was easy.
Trade, yes. Investment, yes. Trade, no.
Yeah. Oh, as an investment.
Well, he didn't specify, right?
Right. Okay. So, I'll do Apple, whatever. Sorry for the eye surgery. I hope you're repaired and getting better on that. So, my little thought here on Apple remains the same, and it's exactly what I told Rob back here. It's exactly what I tweeted to everybody before, and that is that Apple is a stock that has to be in your portfolio. If it's not, then sorry, you've just missed, I don't know how much money over the last 10 years. But the point is, don't get FOMO over this stock. Apple's the highest traded stock around, right? Everybody loves Apple. It's in all of the indexes. What I'd rather you wait to do is, and again, our charts are still that stock split adjusted, but you got to wait for a pullback. It does have pullback moves, right? Even before these adjustments, like if you're missing Apple, look, it does have down days where you can catch some of these stocks on sale. So for me, for you, Kevin, I would rather wait. I gave the same advice to my son yesterday, who's been long and actually doing quite well, started buying on the dips and wants to know when he should get out. I would say really never get out of Apple, but you need to keep on building the position. So wait for it to drop down. Minus 1% is not a big enough move to say, you know what, I'm going to start getting into Apple. If you want to leg in, what I would do is wait for this announcement to come out, see how the market reacts, and then make your judgment based off that. Because honestly, I would rather this get back into the mid-teens before we make any real bets on our friend Apple. Is that a Brendan call? Yes.
Livongo, guys, LVGO, another one we've talked about on the show many times, up 6% today. They're teaming up with a company called Guide Health, I want to say. Guide Well, on expanding their telehealth. So they're an online health company. So they're expanding their delivery service to expand the reach of their delivery service through this team up with Guide Well. So LVGO having quite the day, 6%, guys.
Nice looking LVGO. Another name from the watch list here, guys. Lordstown, I'm already sort of calling them that. DPHC here, if you're tracking the ticker. Coming off rather heavily. Of course, we did talk about this one off the jump. First level you want to watch. Go back to last week, this high 2350. Yesterday's absolute bottom, creeping down towards this low right here. Nice little pivot area if it can bounce to the upside, maybe catch a bit of a bottom break. If it does go lower, I would anticipate there's a likelihood that you might see some sideways action off this. Given the time of day, I just feel like it's getting closer to lunch. It's not there yet. It's 11 o'clock. But if it does make some consolidation off of that bottom, there's going to be an obvious long opportunity to get you back from that 2350 into that 24 to 2450 chop that there was on the way down. So watching DPHC, it's down 6%. But you are starting to get into some levels that did have a lot of volume and sideways chop before. So if it happens again, a bit of a bottom pick for you there on Lordstown Motors. Brendan, what do you got for us?
A little bit of data just coming out on Moderna. mRNA, guys, their trial or current trial for their COVID-19 vaccine looking pretty positive right across the board. They're saying it's generally tolerated well. They're already submitting an application to Health Canada for possible approval for said vaccine. So mRNA already up significantly today. Not a big reaction off of that, but already having quit today for Moderna, guys.
And he didn't even blink when the 1500 rolled right past and moonwalked in front of him. That's how professional Brendan is. Thank you very much for getting us to 1500 likes, which means, if my math is correct, usually if we get there by like 11 o'clock, I feel like we should be getting to that 2,000 mark. Make Valeria very, very happy, even though she's dressed in all black today. Maybe that'll brighten her day if we can get to that 2,000 mark. Of course, we appreciate all of that love. Moderna is going to be worth this little watch here. Anytime it has one of these spikes, it's usually good for an afternoon style trade, but you're going to want to make sure and just go, of course, to the higher time frame. It is in a bit of a breakout territory, so you are getting expansion past some of these support levels. I'd be looking to see if we can't get back towards that $80 mark. If it can't break above, it's probably going to be a fade trade, but either way, I think you're going to have some actionable opportunities. Definitely down at 76 if Moderna ever gets there. You usually want to be fading this news when it comes in, but that trade has come and gone. So looking for the dip back into last week's prices, not likely to happen. So you got to watch out for 76 even on the way back down here at Moderna. Obviously, some of the vaccine names are going in both directions. J&J is one of them. We already talked about the pause, and it's worth noting it's not a clinical hold. You're seeing it trade down today, but it is a pause in their trial for the vaccine. So far, 148 has held. We liked a little bit of a further dip to 146, but if it's going to be 148 as support, I think you're going to get some scalp trades long in J&J. Not the most volatile stock in the world. That's why you'll often see 20, 30, 40 cent winners. You got to be happy with those. If you get a dollar move, great. I took 50 cents on it earlier before we took a hit on the second trade short. 150 still looks like it's going to be that resistance point, even though it broke very, very briefly here off of the open. Got like 5 cents before retracing.
Okay, and yeah, by the way, it's another backflip there. I've been posting it on the chat there as we go. Look at Disney, man. Out there right ahead of 131. So in 130.85, in again at 73, out at 94 for a nice little win there. So now our long is 72. We'll wait to see if it can take out more highs. But Disney, just a name that keeps on going, man. We'll wait to see if it can take out this high. We're long right now. It's a 20. Look, whoa. How convenient. Back-to-back 22-cent jacks right now. Disney and WFC right now all in the money. Okay, here goes Disney more. WFC, a nice little move back to the downside. We're still short 22. You see that on the board below. And then there goes Disney now making days high. So nice little trade here on Disney. Needs to go to 131.12 to break the high. We're long. This is another 33-cent winner for us. So far today, guys, I mean, we can review everything here if we want. This, $1.20. Then $4. So that's Twilio right there, $5. You can see the numbers at the bottom. So, I mean, I'm just reviewing this for you as well. DraftKings, man, mistake. In here, ding, 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 out. Perfect trade. Now back to the high side. We'll wait to see that. Not perfect. We get our last 10% there. Should have been out there. Apple today, man. Apple, my largest stock of the day. Thank you so much, Apple. We crushed it here off the open. Didn't have as many shares. I mean, we could be way bigger. Didn't have as many shares because it was the open. Tried to put an order breaking through here. Unfortunately, it snapped so fast. We missed the short, but then we just get out. $4 winners on Apple downside, then $1.70 on the upside win there with Apple. Now you're seeing it keep going. Should have held a bit of that. That's that trade. A little bit in and out on Luck and Coffee here on the pink sheets, but not much happening since then. We'll wait to see if there's a big move coming on that. And then WFC, the fun has just started, yet we're almost out. $25 downside, a nice little 25-cent win. Let's check back. The only idea I'm really working with right now is that JP Morgan break of, and I still like it, 101.30. But the problem is, man, the NASDAQ keeps going up and this is fading through. So JP, there goes Disney. Yes, breaking the high, and boom, that's a banger for you. So here we go, a nice little bang up trade for you on Disney. Another 50-cent win for you. So man, we're just cashing out right now. Thank you to Mr. Wheelie Man for the reminder on the water. We're getting there. I did forget. We're down to the 11 a.m. mark. So we're pretty close, man. Just 15 minutes away from our targets. Thank you, Mr. Wheelie Man.
MDGS here, guys. It's still heading still kind of heading southbound. It hasn't broken this consolidation where I did take the first long. It still looks relatively strong. It hasn't had any tremendous flushes, and these are all sort of the word I want to use is controlled selling to the downside. At some point, I expect the parabolic sell through. 285 remains the support level floor. I tried 3. 3 was no good. It looks like 285 is probably going to be the better one. 425 to the upside if it breaks 4 even. But right now, it's right off of that 330 mark. I tried that long 320, so it's an off chance. There's some support down there. I would be looking at 285 to 3 as your better bet. Brennan, what do you got, bud?
Just watching MoneyGram here. I was trying to see who it was, if it was an analyst or it was a general note here, but there was a positive note on MGI out this morning. You can see a couple of times we've had significant volume spikes. Another one just coming in there through 350. So up 9.5% so far from MoneyGram. We're right at that last kind of spike high on the daily chart, that 350. So big time level, guys.
Big time level possibly approaching. And I talked about this loop a couple of times here. But anytime you see this type of consolidation on a formerly, and you can see what it does, it's done here, gapping to the downside. It's done 3 million shares. It's gapped down like 30%, continued to flush to that downside. But if you see something like this, it's just not going anywhere off of a random price like a 740 area. Just zoom in for you guys just a little bit so you can see. Starting to form a bit of consolidation. There's all kinds of weakness in this name. This is one of those things where you just can like set it and forget it type stop. If it breaks a low, you want to be into that short. I wouldn't touch it to the upside, but just because every single time, and it's like 1, 2, 3 times it's broken out of the range, it's essentially come right back in and then teetered back into like a 10, 15 cent, nothing bound range. The only problem with this trade is it is down 35%. That means you can't actually hit the bid when it does go. You have to hope to be able to catch a fill. Short sell restricted. You need an uptick to be able to sell aggressively to that bid. So unfortunately, it's going to be a tricky one for you to get. It's not tricky to pick up the long if you like it in JP Morgan. It's still holding 101. I did try this one to the south side when it did make this break at the bottom. Right now, when Sean and I were both looking at these bank names to the short side. So whether you looked at Wells when it continued downside or whether you looked at JP Morgan, it didn't make a difference. JP just looks a little bit stronger at this point off of 101. I still like 100, but 101 turning around right now as I look at the futures holding. NASDAQ still up, but the ES holding just 0.5% to the downside. JP looks like it might give you a bit of a scalp along off of 101. Maybe take that to like 30s, 40s, 50s. The bigger trade I think would be off of 100 even. It just feels at this point that party might be over, and we might have to wait for that one tomorrow if there's some continuation on this pullback off of what was blowout earnings. Great earnings for JP, lower their loss provisions instead of increasing them. All good signs, but they're selling that news rather heavily.
Yeah, and like I was saying there, good report, but yeah, I mean, they've just been so heated up. And I mean, the banks don't need to move Like remember when we gave you guys the call? If you're joining us for the first time, not the last time, hopefully, you'll see I gave JP Morgan to everybody down here, 94.95. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's like 2 weeks. JP Morgan's traveled about 15%. So for me, this fade today was pretty simple. I should have had the short early, but didn't. So that's JP Morgan. Looks like it's coming back to the upside. We are going to take this long. We've talked about that over and over again. 101.30. So we're into that one soon. But here goes Disney. This is a 50-cent win. So Disney right now making moves to the high side. We did get some out at 131. I do that every time. That's a 20-cent win. Now we have 50 on board. We're holding the second half. So not holding 10%, now holding half of Disney as we get a little upset that we lost going long Disney. Disney, again, like I think it's my second or third biggest holding in the long-term portfolio. So really happy with what's happening right now on the Disney side of things. And obviously added a lot more shares there in the depths of March and April. So no problem there. And they did delay their dividend back then. So we'll see when they reinstate that, what's going to happen to Disney. Back to the upside. We do like it. That's for sure. CCL, so I'm still waiting for JP Morgan. My eyes are always on that, so you're going to see that one coming through. Carnival Cruise Lines, man, down another 5.7% today. This stock is just in a world of hurt. I don't know if we should be investing in this yet. It's getting that down again near some bottoms that we like. Ultimately, the bottom's going to be about 12 here on a daily chart, but Carnival's getting close to being investable again. I just think that we need to get that one, like I keep saying, I'd rather make the move on Carnival once we know that they're back booking cruises and can actually leave the port. So Carnival right now having some issues moving around, but 20 million shares, definitely a good spot for that. WFC and Disney, the only positions I have on, and they're pretty light. So right now, again, 11.20. I feel like the market maybe is waiting for Apple, but who knows? That seems
and you say that, Sean. It's 1 o'clock, of course, that event is going to be. Also a reminder, usually it's like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but today we actually do have a guest traders. Just to let you guys know, coming up in about 20 minutes or so, we will be having a guest trader segment, usually a different day, but today we're going to be doing it at 11:40 as usual. Kodak here, and I don't really see anything. I saw some people asking about it here on the chat, but Kodak, I don't see much of anything other than there is that lawsuit which has a deadline today for plaintiffs to join in. Whether or not that's going to be the reason why it spiked to the upside, usually Kodak's going to be a fade off of any non-material sort of changes in the company structure. So that's the best way to put it. You look at the daily chart, and sometimes like a 15-minute chart, and sometimes it's almost too easy here. You do watch this level that we just spiked into, and you go to yesterday's action, 10:30 top, all kinds of consolidation there on Friday on the way back in at 10:30. So once it fails at a price like this, for those of you that are long, you're always looking to take profit once it turns around at a price like that, so 10 even. If you're looking to short it, you're almost thinking short into that price as it goes up. The downside was it wasn't on the radar going into today. The volume wasn't actually tremendous or anything, but if it's on your radar, that's what you're looking for when it spikes to the upside. Just find that level where you had some bag holders taking profits before, and a good chance that some of them will do so again. Brendan, what's up, buddy?
A couple other things still doing some significant volume, guys. ATXI, little therapeutics company we talked about very briefly yesterday. They had an FDA ruling go against them yesterday. You can see on the daily chart, huge move to the downside. Again today, another 16% to the downside on decent volume for them. This Fathom Holdings, wow, a little real estate stock, another day high here on a volume spike, now up to almost 25 on that last little push there. 21% for FTHM, guys.
Okay, so we get into JP Morgan here, breaking through 30. We take two fills, one at 25, one at 30. So we took some out already at 37. Let's see how high we can go now. JP Morgan long, 101.30 real position. Disney also 43 cents in the money to the upside as well right now. So we're cruising for a bruising if the NASDAQ turns around. Let's switch this over. I'm not in any NASDAQ stocks, so we're going to go to ES right now. We'll watch the ES, the S&P 500. Should be watching a bank ETF as we go long right now. JP Morgan, nice little long. Our average price is 101.30, so right now it's only 6 cents there topside. That's where we took a little bit off, and that's it. So that was from our 27s. Just thought maybe we'd run into that. So let's talk about it. Our out's going to be down here, 101.05, so I don't even want this thing to come close to 101. I'm going to get out before then, so that's worth the risk right there. That's 25 cents to the downside. We'll see if we can't piece some out upside so that if we do wind up losing our full 25 cents, it's not that at all. But right now, my target to get some out right here, 101.60. We will get some out before then, but I think that we can get to some of this spots. There's the bottom, and then there's the break on that level. So it's actually 101.53. So here we go, a nice little ripper right now for JP Morgan. Let's get out of some more. But yeah, good trade here. We're at our highest spot, as we keep on saying, and boom, put on the shares and let you know about it. Here goes JP Morgan.
I saw someone asking about SOS, and SOS, if you are holding along in this one, it already was selling it off rather heavily on a retracement play here. There was a bounce on volume, but what I was talking about at MDGS is sort of that first crazy move or that crazy wick to the downside that just hadn't happened. It just put a second one in, and this is twice it's made a bit of a bounce on volume and then done the exact same thing, fall like 10%, 10-15% in a matter of a couple of minutes. This is a 3-minute chart if you're following along here. It is making a bit of a round off this bottom, but I would hold off until like 225, another test at that low, before I thought of any longs. If you're holding along in this from yesterday, I mean, every one of these pops is a reason to get out, in my opinion. You're already seeing it sell off rather heavily, so a couple of people, some big dogs are covering. That's just the reality here. That's what you're seeing. On these pops, some big longs are covering these trades. That's why it's coming down rather heavily each time. So if you're not doing that selling and you're holding the bag long, it was a $2.11 stock yesterday. It already gave you a price above 3 even. Came almost all the way back here. I think it's pipe dream. If you're holding for longer, you're just sort of hoping there's a secondary push, which usually is a bad idea. If you can get that return, you got to be taking it in front of some of these levels. If it does retest the high, it's a short all day long around that 3 even off of this consolidation earlier, guys. So that's what a short seller would think. But look, the price action is telling you this. There's already some big dogs that are selling this action every time it comes up 30 or 40 cents.
Oh, what? DraftKings is revisiting. Oh, yeah, wow. Great call there. I just saw someone posting about DraftKings revisiting high side. Yeah, good look there, man. I hope you guys are still a little bit long, maybe, off some of these 50 bottoms that we talked about. I never looked short in this name today. I just think it's too beat up over the last couple of days to even think about a short right now on DraftKings. So watch out for that one, making moves to the upside right now. Disney. Okay, so JP Morgan's bouncing around, not doing anything. But the one that stock that is going right now is Disney. This is a 50-cent win right here for Disney. So still watching that one and still have half on board. Hopefully that comes going through very, very soon. What's up, Brendan?
Westwater Resources just noticed again today we're making a move to the downside, 11.5%. This is actually Friday. If you remember, we were talking about that 920, 925 area from Thursday afternoon to the downside. So 1, 2, now 3 days straight to the downside for that Westwater Resources recent high flyer. Once they give up and start moving back to the downside, you got to pay attention to those. Big time miss there for me today on WWR, guys.
I remember that stock, and it sticks in my head because back in the day, used to watch wrestling when the WWF and now WWE, but that one, every single time I see it, that's the first thing I think about. I want to go over this workhorse just another time. It cannot hold at any of these levels where it has some sideways action. First, it was going to be 25, then it was going to be 24. I told you guys, I made a keystroke error into too many shares here. And this is one of those things you might hear us say from time to time, whether it's a stop order that triggers on you that you didn't want, an order you forgot, or you take too much, whatever it is, just get out. If you hang on to it, what is a 20 or 30 cent hit can quickly turn into either like 50 pennies here, $1, $1.50. So you have to start thinking about it, especially the ones that you didn't intend to have. But if it's just too many shares for your original risk parameters, and if you're long 24.50 off of 24 even, you've set it so that you can risk 50 pennies on the amount of shares that you intended to take. If you have more than that, then your stop is implicitly tighter, which means you've got to get out right away potentially. And that's one thing you have to stick to. I've seen traders time and time again get that weird deer in headlights look, and then they just stare at the screen and it goes against them. And I've been there before. Like, I was there as a trainee when I started. The very first time that I had, an over $1,000 hit, I was a deer in headlights, and it was literally like the first few months of trading. But you can't have that happen to you. Stick to your risk plan. If you get too many, just get out of it right away, guys. Workhorse continues to be unable to find a bid. It's now short sell restricted. I mean, you look at it here, and it's not to only ever be trying to bottom pick, but if you go to like a 15-minute, there isn't a heck of a lot to look at other than this one crazy wick down here at 22 even. If things get even uglier, I suppose there's a chance it could bounce at that price, even though I don't like bottom picking after two levels that we thought would be some decent chop, couldn't hold up whatsoever. 22, if it can bounce off there, I guess third time would be a charm, but I won't be part of it.
Okay, yeah, we're still waiting here. We did, so update on JP Morgan. I couldn't update it there. Neil, good job explaining some of those calls there on Workhorse and keystrokes and whatnot. Like it happens to the best of us, that's for damn sure. Okay, so we did get out there on that 105. I said I didn't want it to see 101 even there. But the thing is, I literally got out at 101.04, and then all of a sudden it jumped back up. So I actually marketed in again here at 101.06. So we did get out, but we did get back in. And then I just took some out here into the teens. I still think we can go high side. So we're back in, but that's why the price is going to show differently. So we've took the hit. You can see that on the bottom. And then now it's coming back to the high side. So if we get back up here, it'll roughly be a flat trade. But the thing is, I doubled my position down here. So that's the thing. When we're trading live, it's very hard to explain everything and what we're doing. But because it did not test, like the reason why I got out there at 101.05, you heard me talk about that, was because I thought that it was going to crash through 100 even. When that didn't happen, I right away just took this back, marketed. I don't know if my market made this go up, who knows, but we get long at 06 there, and then we just got some out in the mid-teens. So we're making a little bit of that money back on that drop-off point there. So we did lose 20 pennies. Now we double our position and take a little bit more out. I'm going to give it to this level now, $100.95, because I definitely want to see that clean break. It's absorbing right now, the S&P, so that's okay. I'm actually pretty happy about that. We do have another order. Our best out is 19 from 06. I do have another order at 21, so we'll see if that can go. But by the way, Disney right now, highs right now, big time trading on Disney. Look at the daily chart on Disney. We're long in the money now, 60 pennies, but this is the kind of daily chart that I'm talking about. It's already been up here to 136 and change. We're now above that 50 period moving average, so that's probably giving us a little bit more boost. 132 and change high side, we'll look about getting out, but right now, a 60 penny winner here, a 20-cent win on WFC, and then a small 10-cent win on JP Morgan, Brendan.
Another one to look at here, guys, just popping up on a volume scanner. Dynavax, DVAX, we've traded this one before on the show, 7%. You can see volume just popping up at 490. Needs to get back above 5, I think, to do anything. But Dynavax apparently part of a vaccine that's being worked on by a company called Medigen Vaccine Biologics, which trades in Taiwan, has received subsidy from the Taiwan government for that vaccine. So Dynavax looks like up on that news. So part of that vaccine comes from Dynavax. So that's the tie-in there. So DVAX up on some vaccine news, guys.
DVAX, NVAX, up is MDGS, and it's still, look, it's still looking just incredibly strong here. And I've sort of said this all morning long. As much as the short retracement trade is literally a daily occurrence here on the short for some of these gaps to the upside, this one has felt like it is the one that wants to go and surge possibly into the afternoon. I did take a shot, of course, and I lost on it. I didn't give it all the way down to the pre-market volume bottom, I want to call it, at 285. I gave it to 3. That broke. I lost. It bounced off here, gave you a big move right past that 4 mark. Well, right into that 4 mark. I like 425. It breaks it again. But it's this level here, right at VWAP. It just so happens to be, but also on the way down where I was tricked into a long at 325, 330. That's the current support that if it doesn't break it by lunchtime, I don't know if it's going to be 130. We've seen that in the past, sometimes afternoon, maybe all the way into like 3 o'clock. You'll get these secondary pushes to the upside. And if this one doesn't break down, it just shows you that there's not enough actual sellers to break the backs of what is crazy volume now, 120 million. The algos have control of this. So watch for a 4 break, watch for a 425 break. Even think about if it does test here at 330 at VWAP and then bounces up. So watch it. Then I'd watch for a 360 break as well. All breaks to the upside. I wouldn't touch it inside of the 3 to 360 range. 285 is that kill zone. If it gets below that price, I think it's actually shown some weakness, which hasn't happened yet.
So the ES heading northbound now, and we're just watching out for our JP Morgan as it just comes straight to the downside there. See, this is why. It comes to 101.02 there and then bounces. So I'm pretty happy with our 95 spot. We're out of half of that trade. So JP Morgan, we're still pretty close to the high of the day because of Disney. And remember, we still have this short on. So even though JP Morgan is going down, we're making money, not as much. I have more shares in JP Morgan, but we still are making money on this short. That's 25 cents in the money. This is 2 cents cents out of the money, right? So as long as they don't have 25 times the shares, we're okay. But here we go. We're still waiting for some upside. Don't know if it's going to be there anymore in JP Morgan. Futures went, and it just really had a hard time at the spot that I thought would be the go. So thank God we took out some profit, able to get out and then back in and take some more out here. But it doesn't look like JP Morgan really wants to go, which is fine. Just hoping and wishing that it did have those legs. And look, now it's going to break 101. Our out is 95. So that's still there. We will take a 11-cent hit or so. Disney, 45 cents in the money. I do have an order parked upside, 131.30s. If we get back into this area, again, very similar to Twilio. We're going to see if we can get out on that one. How many times is it going to go high side before we lose our lesson or learn our lesson? But here's Twilio now, of course, making new highs. But that was an hour ago that we dumped out of that trade. So pretty good trade there for Twilio. Really happy the way today's worked out, man. We've had a lot of bangers. You've seen that at the bottom. Welcome back, Neil. Thanks for Arun yesterday. It's been a big day. Me and Valeria in our blacks here today. So pretty good, and I think that's looking good. So we'll wait to see here. Oh, I have an interview also after with Alex B, the trader, Alex Bustos. You can check that out. I'll put the link up on Twitter once I get it. But that's Twilio. Crazy stock, man.
Yeah, just want to go back to this Jinko, guys. 65 broke, held, came right back in. You're getting consolidation lower. That's sort of an obvious short off the top there. So if you're going to counter trend, that's your shot right here for JKS. But I was just told we got to 96,000 subscribers. So very close to that 100,000 mark, which we are planning something special for you guys. We'll see if we can't get that. Hey, man, by the end of the week would be fantastic. It'd be a lot of fun for us. But I have yet to see that 2,000 like number. I know we all look out for it because we have a fantastic graphic that I know Valeria wants to see on that screen. So if you can get us there, put a smile on Valeria's face. You know you guys want to do it here. Plus, too, the better mood I'm in, the more pumpkin pie I'm going to eat, and I have a lot of it to get to because we made way too much. So Jinko, I like that one to the short side. Watch out, JP Morgan back below 101. I'm not saying, look, obviously it still hasn't broken that low of 180. If it does break down through there, still looks like there's an opportunity for that 100 bounce. It was a great trade last week. One thing to always keep in mind, the second time you get a bounce like that, it's a bigger move down, obviously, as you can see here. But last time the retracement was like 2 to 250. I would anticipate a little bit less than that. I think if you're doing a scalp trade, so target like $1 to $1.50, reasonable return. You want to see it dip down into the price. So two things you're looking for. One, parabolic dip down and a snapping right back in, you take it on the way back up. Or if you get some consolidation at that little bottom, sideways at that 100, maybe 120, something like that, that's what you're going to be watching for. 101 is still trying to hold, so it might be that trade. But the market is going, and it's without the ES, for at least the time being, and without the banks. We talked about this across the board. The only one I would go long if you're looking for that type of a dip trade is JP Morgan. I would stay away from the others.
Look at Apple, man. I mean, this is my largest stock of the day. Apple, 124.70, making those moves again back up, right? I mean, you can see the ES down 0.4, trying to make a move. Watch the NASDAQ right now. Much more aggressive to the high side, obviously, the NASDAQ. NASDAQ positive. It's been pretty much positive pretty much all day. I guess an hour in, it turned and then went. So 124 in change. Watch out, man. I think this is a good spot to maybe think about going short Apple right now. I'm going to do a little more work, but Brendan, what's up?
On Therapeutics, ALRN. I've been sitting here watching this thing kind of grinding higher all morning, not really doing a heck of a lot. The volume was pretty pathetic. And then all of a sudden, it just decides to take out $2 all in one shot. So a huge volume spike came in, took this thing up from 195 to 205. So they had some positive data on one of their treatments, not COVID related, but positive data out at a conference that they're presenting at. So a nice little pop there for ALRN if you're watching it, guys.
It could be anecdotal, but I'm going to actually do some legwork on this. But I feel like sometimes when the fade trade comes back in on these non-COVID, I want to say biopharma names, that it's actually a little bit better, and maybe that's just because there's fewer eyeballs that are looking to pump them. I don't know, but it just feels like that's been true, at least on a smaller sample. It's been a higher percentage of wins, I would say, on some of those. That said, this one has already sort of blown through the level I would have been watching at $2. If you want to go back, a little bit further, you can see this has been on a bit of an upward trend, which does sort of set it apart here from some of the ones that we have been watching in the past. So
Okay.
I don't love it as much through $2, but if it gets back below that price, that's probably where I look to fade it.
Okay, guys, come over here. Apple right now. Okay, there we go. Now we're short. I just want to say there was some size at 124. I was trying to show it to you there, but it just destroyed it. I mean, it's 100 million shares today on Apple. So I think there was like couple 100,000 there at 124. We did go short there. We're starting a short position on Apple. So it's our largest stock today, my most profitable stock today. So let's go back to it. And again, it's that same trade that I kept saying all morning. I said, if we got up to 126, we'd hit it back to outside. It didn't do that. So basically we got to 125. Let's hit it back down. I saw what you said there. Someone said on the chat, oh, here it is right here, SH. I don't even really know what this means. 1.3 billion short interest dollar value wise. That's not that much. That's not scaring me for that on the short side. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that is a lot, and I don't know if that's historically a lot for Apple. But look, the run that Apple's had, they reverse split. There's no, they didn't reverse split, they split. There's no reason for Apple to have a high short interest other than the fact that people just want to play this event and think that it's been way heated. I mean, a lot of people are calling downside in the market, period. So if the market does retrace, Apple would be, like we keep saying, tied heavily to the NASDAQ and to the overall market. So I'm going to go short here, and I'm just going to wait until it breaks the high of the day. It's not a large position. I'll build it up, and if it breaks high, we won't give back everything we've made, obviously, but we'll wait to see if it does take that out. I'm going to build Apple, target out. If we can get 50 cents on this, we'll do that. Down here to 123.50, probably get some out, even 65-ish, 50s, and then hold some. I'll probably go a third, and then a third to wait for more downside action there. So I do like Apple, and we're short right here at the money. You could take it with me right now, guys.
I keep seeing people say, when is it good to buy a workhorse? I'm staying away from it for now, but I'll talk about this MDGS. It is still trying to hold this this level here, VWAP, also 325, to the upside. It's been the strong one all morning long. I'm going to take it on the sideways action. I got 41s long. I won't let it break that 325 level, but I've said multiple times this feels like it's the hot one today, and the volume is crossing the 125 million mark. It just can't sustain any sell. There hasn't been like that one defining sort of sell-off, and it hasn't broken this $4 area to the upside, even though it did take out the previous pre-market high. Now, so I'm going to round into this long. I'll scalp some off in front of the previous pre-market high and $4, but looking for a break at 4. I'll look for a break at 425 and then work it to 525 is about as far as I think it would go on any squeeze. So let's get this one long side. Second time I've tried this one today, usually short them, but it's also 11:40. I hinted that we actually have a guest trader today, even though it's Tuesday. So let's go to Brendan for the introduction.
Yeah, we'll switch things up, guys, and have a guest trader on a Tuesday because we have a very special guest coming through tomorrow. On Wednesday, brand new entrant into the cannabis space, going to be stopping by the CFO from the company tomorrow about this time. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. But guest trader of the day brought to you by Lewis Daniels Watches. Everyone coming on right through the end of October getting a Lewis Daniels watch. Rampreet Singh joining us today for guest trader of the day. Good to see you, Rampreet. Welcome to the show. What have you been looking at so far this morning?
Oh, it's pretty good. Yeah. So I was thinking like market might go up, but it's just all, kind of dumping down in the like early hours. It becomes all choppy. So it's pretty good. Still watching Apple, and that one MDGS was really good squeeze, short squeeze it gave by like by the, what was that, like 11 a.m. Was really good. Yeah. There are a couple more.
Tough to get locates on that one on the short side today, but yeah, great move if you caught it long as well. Let's get back to it. Here are Neil and Sean.
Yeah, you mentioned Apple here. We're cheering Apple to head to the southbound side there. It just goes to 80 there. We could have took off 20 pennies, but we did not. Ranpreet, I see the Northern Lights in the background. Where are you located, my friend?
So I'm in Western BC.
There we go. Okay, beautiful country. Shout out to all of our Canadian friends if I can find the Canadian flag. So what up to Whistler, of course. Many of you might know that as Vancouver hosted the Olympics I don't know, 8 years ago or so, the Winter Olympics.
Yeah.
Was it that long? I don't know how long it was. But good to see there. Whistler, great skiing. Do you partake in skiing, snowboarding, anything like that?
Yeah, sometimes I go for that. Like, it's really enjoying, like, really at the top of the mountain. It's really amazing.
Yeah, no, beautiful there. Okay, I'm going to leave this at Neil because Apple right now heading southbound, and I'm going to try to take some profits off here in the 60s if we can, and then we'll get some VWAP action, and then we'll go more southbound. But let's go. We're cheering Apple to the downside here, guys.
Yeah, Apple to the downside, MDGS to the upside. You mentioned that one as well, Rampreet. Look, I haven't shorted it. Usually that's the game that I will play on these stocks and the setup that I like. But this one looking too strong. Just took it off 41s. I'll scalp some out in front of like that 350, 360 area. So I've already taken some profit. I'll rinse and repeat it. What are you looking at in particular on this name? Are you going to be actively trading it throughout the afternoon, or are you sort of going to be done after it's put some decent moves on this morning?
Yeah, mostly trade until noon, which is 9 a.m. here in Pacific. So yeah, so don't mind me if I would say wrong time sometimes. So I would be in the Pacific by that time. So yeah, so MTGS, yeah, that's what I'm expecting. Expecting to support the WAP, and as it did, and now I'm just waiting to give me really strong support at that 360 level, which is you can see that like still rejecting like so far now. Let's see if it goes up or not.
Yeah, and I think the word you use there is like rejecting. And for most of us, look, we'll have the only indicator I have in my chart here is going to be VWAP. Occasionally on a higher time frame, you might see a moving average on there, like maybe like a 50 period. But I try to keep it simple overall, and it's all about key levels. It's all about rejecting a price area. Like when we try to trade below $3, that's what rejection is. When you see this $3 mark, guys. And watch out, JP Morgan's getting down to that 100 mark. Going to be testing that level pretty soon here. But the money's dropping because the futures in the market are dropping, right, Sean?
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, but we're making that cash out there, Apple 75s there for 25-cent win. So as planned, man, I put this one, planned it out for you guys. Like in here, first out, 75. I called 65. We just took 75. You could take it right now, 74s if you want it. My next out's going to be right around here. VWAP is 50. So let's put a bid right around 50, 55, 56. You choose, and then we'll go downside on that one. But yeah, no, it's been a pretty decent day right now. Rampreet, who do you want to give some shout outs to? Let's do that now, just in case this market goes a little crazy for us now.
Shoutouts.
You don't have any?
Okay. No, just
we'll come back, Rampreet. We'll come back. Think about it. Think about your mother. Think about your significant other. Those are always good to shout out. Okay, Apple down here to the 50s. We're going to look at that. Yeah, our JP Morgan, we were thinking about going short once it broke this. Unfortunately, we didn't have any orders out there. Try long, fail, and out. JP Morgan joins the stocks today that I put into the gates of hell. But there's only one of them, and that's really JP Morgan, because look at this Disney out, guys. Out of Disney, right here, 130.95. Take the profits. It does not tick us up. Now it comes back to the downside. Sometimes you got to protect those profits, and that's exactly what we did. Next stop, Apple. There's that 65. So if you wanted that was my idea. Here we go to the downside. Now we're bidding 54s. So here's another 50 cents. Look, I told you if Apple breaks through 124 that we're going to go. Come on, Apple. 1 penny away. Boom! There's another win for you right there. Right on the show, Rampreet. You're a lucky guy. You get the booms and the bangs. Good one. You're a good luck, Rampreet. You can come back at any time. You are also going to be getting a lovely Lewis Daniels watch shipped out to you. So Laura, our production assistant, will handle that one. And Apple, the rich keep getting richer with Apple there as it just keeps on tanking. Let's see what winds up happening here. My number one stock of the day.
Yeah, and here comes, like you mentioned, JP. I like it off of 100. We keep talking about this over and over again. Go to a higher time frame. For those of you that haven't tuned in, we went over this on the watch list, immediately identified that level. I did short into it off the open, so my only execution is going to be short. That doesn't get away from what was an awesome trade the last time. And this happened last week where I said the same thing in the pre-market. When it was gapping to the upside, I said, let's dip buy it at $100, and then I missed it. One crazy wick down. This time I'm a little more prepared for it. That's why I'm ready with an order to go. A quick question for you here, because Rampreet, you talked about Apple, you talked about MDGS. two very, very different stocks. One I think is more of an active trade. You can obviously actively trade Apple as well. Is your overall style to basically be intraday trading, like day trading, MDGS styles? Do you do any swing trading at all? Is that something you might consider in an Apple?
Never tried swing trading, but I do have long-term holdings, like Apple and all that stuff. As Sean keep promoting Apple again and again, and it's yeah, that's the time you can hold it now.
80 cents.
Yeah.
Look at Apple right now. Money. Let's keep it going, man. Apple breaks to the downside. Big time trading here today. Rampreet, do you follow me on Twitter? Because we are absolutely.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Boom! 1 of 8,000. Hit that. Let's keep it going,
One more
man.
thing. I also have my alerts on for Twitter too.
What was that, my friend?
Didn't hear.
I have my alerts on for the Twitter, for your all the tweets.
Oh, good. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fantastic. There's lots of things you can do. But here we go, Apple to the downside. Looking out for this level, 122.75. We may... Oh, there's a dark print all the way down there. Instantly, my charts change there. But a 75-cent win. Neil, I got to edit this out if I'm going to show this chart anymore.
Yeah, this is going to happen. We have direct market access, and you see almost every single print, basically every print that comes off the tape, including the dark ones, and they can be blocked prints here. I'm going to take some more shares off at MDGS. It is resisting, and I mentioned this to you guys here. The previous pre-market high at 365, 370, that same price area, it's resisting there. So there's going to be some other, if it does make a parabolic move up, there's other entry points, whether it's a 4-even break. Maybe it takes off 375. We can get that long. Maybe it's a pullback into that 330 for long. All of those are reasons to take more shares in. So I'll continue to scalp some shares off for that 20-cent win. As it's going sideways, it's done so much volume. If you can active trade it cheaply, which we can here at Day Trade the World, that's what you got to do when you're playing these price levels. But I like the dip down at 330. I like the break at 375. I like the break at 4 even. Brendan, what do you got, bud?
An interesting one. EBS, Emergent Biosolutions. More vaccine-related news here, guys. EBS in New York down significantly on the day, but it's just broken through 100. So that last little push to the upside, you can see volume coming in, was through 100 even. Huge level on the daily chart. So they had a blood treatment that was being used in a late-stage trial for patients of COVID-19 that came back a little bit positive. Still looking for the reason for the gap down this morning, but a little bit of strength coming in right now for EBS, guys.
I'm really happy here. Thank you so much, Daryl. I mean, look, we go back and forth, and you've been a fantastic addition and just member to our family. And look, I love getting those credits from you guys, man. Thank you so much. You went long first time when we won, and then now again. So very, very nice trading there, Daryl. You've given me some ideas on CCL as well. So I should give you my direct number. Let me know when you think stocks are moving around. But okay, here we go. Apple, beautiful trading on this one. 70 cents in the money. I mean, we'll just keep watching this as it continues to fall to the downside right now. I did want to look at another name that we haven't looked at yet. Unfortunately, the charts, I need to edit those on Apple. Like Neil said, we do show all the dark prints there. Oh, Ranpreet. What's up, my friend? I have another question for you. What platform are you using? We often do get traders in Canada talking about, what we don't have up here, Robinhood or Webull or some of the other platforms that a lot of our American friends have. So which trading platform are you using, and how do you like it? Does it have a charting platform with it as well? There you go. There's the question. Let's see which platform you're using.
Okay, so yeah, so it's almost a year I'm been trading. So what I figured out for the charting, I like Thinkorswim.
Okay.
There's a lot of things you can do on it, and for the executions, I use TradeZero.
Okay.
They got low commissions, and as I said, I also have long-term account. I use Wealthsimple. They got almost zero commissions.
Yeah. That's the thing. My kid just got involved and signed up for Wealthsimple. So yeah, that's a zero commission thing on Canadian. I believe it's on Canadian names, right? There's like a small little ticket charge, right? A small ticket charge on US names. So there you go, guys. Thinkorswim for charting. I give the approval on that one as well. So Thinkorswim's been great charts. I know, Neil, we did before our platform had charts. I know a lot of traders were using Thinkorswim. So
that's a great point, actually, because obviously P per weight gets built, and they take requests from all of our office managers and our traders as to how they can improve it. And they made a big haul of our charts to make them much better. But it was, I would say, almost half the traders were using Thinkorswim a few years ago when it was a primarily execution-driven platform. I want to jump just quickly back to MDGS. I said I would hold some of these shares, the 341 long here for that previous pre-market break up. It did break. We got to like 370, like 4 or so. Not quite, obviously not to $4. It's starting to come back in. I will reload in front of 330, but no reason to change expectations here. I did think that on that break there'd be a shot to get to 4, but there's still plenty of time. The important thing about this name is it's still sustaining volume. That's what you want to see here. And if volume had tapered off consistently and then leveled off at the low end going into lunchtime, I wouldn't be looking for longs. But part of the reason why it feels strong is there's still volume buying above VWAP, above support. It held the support level. This is what happened. Volume trailed off at three, and I figured, okay, got to get out of my long. But then it came right back in. It's now holding to the upside. This is what that setup means for a potential secondary push in the afternoon, and that's why you're seeing me go long instead of a short this name, which I usually would be. Brennan, what's up?
I was just checking on Infosys here. Yeah, they are reporting. I believe it's tomorrow morning before the open. I'll double check. But INFY, 1.4%. It's very rare you see a daily chart basically parabolic, but that's the story for INFY. They've acquired a couple of companies, smaller companies in their space over the past few days. So one of those was this gap here. They announced it, and then another one through 14 was the announcement as well. So we're up to almost 16 for this INFY. Very strong, guys.
All right. Rampreet, round 2. Any shout outs, my friend?
So yeah, I don't want to say any specific name here, but I really appreciate whoever gave efforts to, especially for the traders, especially for the new ones, they give their full efforts to teach them how they how they can correct them or how they make them more consistently profitable.
Right. Okay, good. Yeah, no, look, you don't have to say any specific names. That's fantastic. Thank you for coming on as a guest trader of the day. And it's great to have different opinions, different views and everything. Neil and I just, and Brendan bounce our heads off all these ideas every day. And it's great to see more new, younger traders as well. So that's absolutely great, Rampreet.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to do one thing that we haven't done in a while. And I don't know if you like fruit, but it's fruit salad time right now as we go on the show. And today's fruit salad actually brought to you by something. Oh, I have a watermelon there. I've never seen this before. Brendan knows what this is about. This is a yellow kiwi.
You've never seen yellow kiwi before?
I've never seen it. Have you, Rampreet, seen yellow kiwi before?
No.
No, okay.
Never.
So Brendan, I think, has seen it once, I think, from Costco, he was mentioning. So I don't know if we got it. To me, it's not as good as green.
Whoa. Slow your roll there. Yellow kiwi is the greatest of all of the kiwis.
No way.
Oh, it's literally my favorite. I'll crush it, but
it's good.
I never get it because
good.
my daughter's she sees it and it's that's all I want. So I always have to give it.
It's maybe a little too soft, but that might be because it's not super cold.
It might not. Maybe it's not that fresh. I don't know. I don't know here. But
I prefer the green kiwi for myself. But what's your favorite fruit, my friend?
Same as kiwi.
What? How did that even happen today? I don't think we've ever had anybody say kiwi, so that's great. Back-to-back jacks there for kiwi. But yeah, try it. Neil likes the yellow. If it's already your favorite, go ahead and try that. Okay, Apple right now, again, I apologize for these charts. We chart everything. But right down here, 123, still 70 cents in the money on a nice little short. Thank you so much, Dan, there for the super chat. I see you there. Dan Rowland, thank you so much again, guys, for that super chat. Is that the same one? Yes, it is. Thank you so much, Dan. We appreciate everything. The show is produced for free. The worst you guys could do is hit like. So please, guys, please hit the like, hit the subscribe, get us to 100K. We just passed 96,000.
And look, obviously we appreciate the love here. And JP Morgan, it just doesn't want to seem to bounce off the price that I want. So last time it did bounce off 100. I feel like maybe I was being greedy. Got to the turn is starting to happen here, but it looks like it's off of 41 is the current bottom. If this is going to be where it goes, you have to be able to live with it. It is what it is. This one might have to go without me. I've been targeting that price at 100 all morning long. I did get worked out of a short here that maybe could have been a little bit better, but given how long it was sideways action before making this dip down, that extra 30-40 cents probably not worth the risk in my opinion. Even though it only once went against me, you have to have a stop. And for the short, that was it for me. But I want to go back over to MDGS. This is going to be the fun one. I don't want to say for sure, but the way it's churning through volume here and the way it's holding up upside for a gap like this to be still up 100% and still trying to push towards the highs. I think most of us have seen this before if you've been actively trading. this does feel like another one to push. If it does break up towards the high of the day, we'll take this last bit off for like a 40 or 50 cent winner around 80 to 90, the current high 94, and then look for a 4 even break. If it consolidates off 330 again and bounces, same trade. Go long between 30 and 50, maybe a 50 break to the upside, and then run that same trade into 4 for a 4 even break. That could happen at any point in the afternoon. Ramprey, I know if you're on the West Coast, it means usually you're going to want to be done at noon. It's almost perfect trading if you're a morning person because it's still early for you guys. So if you have a second job, you just go over to that second job, go to school, whatever it might be. But you got to get up pretty early in the morning. So kudos to you if you're following along with us when we go through that watch list because you got to get up pretty early. What time do you wake up to follow us in the morning?
Oh, so normally I get up at like 5:30, like an hour, like half an hour earlier before the market opens. And good to have, guys send the watch list so I can always double check with my scanners. Like, yeah, if it matches, then let's go with that.
I like it. I literally wake up basically 5:30 every single morning, so you and I both. But it is the beginning of earnings season. We talked about the banks. We talked about JP Morgan, a few other ones there. Time to go to Brendan to see what's upcoming on the earnings board.
Yeah, I think it's bank day officially as of tomorrow. We'll show you this board coming up. What is coming up as far as earnings are concerned after market tonight and before the open tomorrow? Yeah, mostly from the financial sector, guys. I mentioned that Infosys having quite the day as well.
Yeah, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. I'm already short Wells right now, 30 cents in the money. But yeah, they're all there. It's a big week, man. There's so many stocks coming that I'm just excited. And yeah, I'll get up a little bit earlier to make sure that we judge out on some of those names and make sure we get the good call. Before we go anywhere, though, we just got a beautiful super chat. I want to say thank you once again to Cameron. Cameron, you continue, to be the guy for us. And there's a lot of you guys out there for sure. So Cameron is just one of them. Thank you so much for that. You love the energy. And there it is. He loves the bangs. So you're welcome, Cameron. We ain't going to stop doing that for you, buddy. As long as we keep getting these trades, we're going to be here every single day. I'm ending the day basically at the highest spot. I've been at a small little hit on JP Morgan, but we crushed that back with Apple. So highest spot today for me right now. Let's keep the love going, man. Only 1 minute left. The only thing we have left to do, I guess, is what kind of a day it is. But Rampreet, before I go, one more little question for you. Do you trade based off earnings? Like, would you be in some of those bank names tomorrow? Or are you just looking to build longer term positions?
For the trading, I trade everything, whatever shows the volatility and like the volume. And
so earnings season is good. Earnings season is good for you then. You like to trade some of those names in play. Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Like, especially like you can say today, like it was Delta Airlines. It was pretty good. You can say it gave me the reversal, it gave me the short. So it was pretty good.
All right, cool. Yeah, good. Yeah, so you'll be watching the show. That's the best thing, man. Make sure you get our watch list. Obviously, you're a subscriber to the watch list as well. Okay, are we ready for what day it is today?
Oh, yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Okay, Valeria with what day it is.
Thank you, Sean. And hey, Renfrey, thank you very much for joining us today. I love your northern lights behind you and wish you all the luck with your trades. Trading family, have a productive and profitable rest of the day. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and smash the like button if you haven't yet. Your support is super important to us. Go watch our next educational video, the link I'm sending on the chat. And happy Yorkshire Pudding Day, everyone. What is this?
I'll take it. Yorkshire pudding is absolutely delicious, but I'll also take the win. We just got out in front of $4. $4 break happening right now on MDGS, guys. We talked about this one. Like, it's just entirely too strong. This one's been going up, so no shorting on this one for me. But I love Yorkshire pudding. I don't know, Rampreet, if you're on board with that. I feel like Valeria needs to partake because it's one of those sort of staples. You have that with nice little roast beef action, which I had yesterday for Thanksgiving. How about you there, Brennan? Are you a Yorkshire pudding guy?
Fried, I guess it's like dough, kind of, fried flour in hot gravy and beef grease. Yeah, how could you go wrong? It's delicious, of course.
Wow. Like, my mouth is literally watering just listening to that one. So a couple of things before we get out of here. I want to just quickly say, Rampreet, I think you did a fantastic job. Lots of fun getting a fellow Canadian on here. Love the Northern Lights look, and continue to wake up early in the morning and do your hard work and stick to the program. We can all learn together. Speaking of learning, we got to drop this one. Unfortunately, you got to see my ugly mug for this thumbnail. But trading terms, you hear us talk quickly about our trades, what we see in the market, and we'll say a few things and drop a few words out there that maybe you don't recognize. You want to get that lingo so you can talk shop, both with us, but also with anyone else in the trading community. Check that video out. Valeria has dropped the link on our Market Wisdom page. So trading terms, that is going to be right there for you guys. And if there's anything you want us to cover, hey, just drop a mention in the comment section or tweet at any one of us. It's been a fun Tuesday, my first trading day of the week, but not going to be the last. We'll be back here tomorrow as always. Thank you very much once again, Rampreet, for the entire team, for Valeria, for man Sean Katina, both in all black. I see you, Rampreet, as well. For Brendan Wickens, I'm Neil Roberts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye, Rampreet.
See ya. See ya.